and welcome to a special happy hour. This is the Buzzing About Romance, Smartypants Romance happy hour. We are super excited for tonight, like overly excited,
Super,
probably.
super duper. We have some awesome stuff happening.
Yeah,
Yay.
so tonight we're celebrating the announcement of the fall 2022 release for Smartypants Romance. The lineup will go as follows: Susannah Nix, Heidi Hutchinson, Stiles, Nora Everly, and Jiffy Kate. And then once we have finished our interview with Jiffy Kate, Leah and I are going to announce the final two books in the lineup, Lainey Hatcher's edition and Carla Sorensen's edition. And
Mhm.
also, for those that are watching along, we are trying some new tech tonight, and the graphic of the book covers is going to cover up over over our faces for a couple minutes. Don't worry about it. We know that it will cover us up. um,
And if it doesn't work right, we apologize. This is the maiden voyage of this deck. So
yeah, yeah. So first author of the evening is Susannah Nix. Welcome to Buzzing About Romance.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
We are super excited to have you here. Like, this is so exciting. It's a little bit of nerdiness, isn't it?
We're
Just a
all
little
nerds.
bit.
it's okay.
So let's kick things off in the traditional way that we do. Do you have any special cocktails or a drink this evening?
Oh, I do have a drink.
There you go. Ooh.
Bubbles.
Oh, it's so fancy.
Wait, hold on. It's from a can. That's how fancy I am.
Even better. But she put it in the fancy glass to make
I
it
like the fancy glass. It makes me feel fancy.
See, she feels fancy. I mug everything. So
Nice.
that's my fancy.
I'm just in the can. Like, it's a Coke Zero tonight. I was worried that if we added a cocktail into this, that I would not get things right. So
Chaos would ensue.
it would be. Okay, so we are super excited. Susannah, you are adding a new book to the Common Threads series, which is part of the Chicago World. Leah, will you read Susannah's bio for us?
Okay, Susannah Nix is a Rita Award-winning and USA Today best-selling author of rom-coms and contemporary romances who lives in Texas with her husband. On the rare occasion she's not writing, she can be found reading, knitting, lifting weights, drinking wine, or obsessively watching Ted Lasso on repeat to stave off existential angst. Okay, so you're like the 10th person who has like talked about how obsessive they are about Ted Lasso. I have yet to watch it, but clearly I need to.
It's just the ultimate comfort TV. Like, I think I've watched there's only 2 seasons, and I think I've watched it like 5 times in the last 2 years. Like, it's just so comforting. People are so nice to each other. It makes you feel good about the world, which we all need right now, I think.
We do.
I haven't watched it yet either, but I don't watch a lot of TV, so you know.
I don't either, but people keep talking about it. Elizabeth says it's fantastic. We should do it.
Okay, so the title of your book that is launching this fall is Not Since You. So here we go. Up there, you two, I think. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Hey, look, it's there. There's just, it's going to blink a couple times because I was trying to watch the YouTube scene and not the right scene. So so there is the pretty cover. One of the things that I really like that Penny Reed Smartypants does is these covers really fit in with each other. So like, that these are a group. These work together. That helps a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to do that. And okay, so Not Since You. Leah, do you want to read the blurb?
Sure. I will take charge of that. Tess McGregor doesn't need anyone. So what if she doesn't have any close friends or family anymore? Her successful consulting business keeps her so busy she barely has time to be lonely. She's got her life organized exactly the way she wants it, until the daughter she gave up for adoption 30 years ago tracks her down. Tess doesn't know anything about being a mother, but now that she's met Aaron, she'll do anything to stay in her life, even if it means facing the life-ruining jerk who got Tess pregnant in high school and broke her heart. Donald Larkin would do anything for a second chance. He's divorced, his kids hardly talk to him, and he works so much he barely has time to eat. But when he's united with the daughter he never had a chance to know, he vows to make up for past mistakes. Step one is proving to Tess he's not the same unreliable kid she knew 30 years ago. And maybe if he's lucky, he can win back the heart of the girl he never got over. And this comes out October 6th. And if you want the tropes, they are second chance, enemies to lovers, late in life, over 40 romance, which honestly I love because there are not a lot of over 40 romances out there.
Yeah, there should be more.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Because not that I'm in my late 30s, like soon to be 40s, but there are times where I want that romance that deals with the adult who is on like the second marriage, who has the older kids, who is dealing with kind of a similar life that I am. And so I want that sometimes.
Their older characters are so much fun to write too, because they've got so much more experience. Mm-hmm. And so with all that experience comes more scars and more regrets, I think. So they've been damaged along the way. Usually we all have, mm-hmm. right? Like, so we all kind of have these things that we've settled into, and these ideas that we've told ourselves. And sometimes you have to be kind of shaken out of that mindset mm-hmm. that you settled into. And that can be a lot of fun to write.
Well, and I think it's different too, because at 40, 45, you lived a very different life than you did at 20 and 25. Like what happened to you at 20 and 25, like it shaped where you are at 40 and 45, but like you've lived almost two separate lives in a sense, because it's like pre like 20 and then post 20.
Yeah, a 50-year-old isn't going to make the same choices that a 25-year-old would, mm-hmm. even if it's the same person. Like, but you still look back on the things you did when you're 25, and you still sort of think you have that perspective that you had when you were 25. Sometimes, mm-hmm. sometimes you don't. Sometimes you look back on them and you go, "Oh, I really messed that up." But then sometimes you're like, and that's one of the things that was really fun about this book is that Tess and Donald both think that the other person is the bad guy in what happened when they were in high school. Mm-hmm. And so it's kind of fun to see them both have to like work through that and see the other person's side of it 30 years later, like when they barely even remember what really happened. All mm-hmm. they really remember is what they've been telling themselves all these years happened. Because 30 years, you don't really remember what happened anymore.
No, but I think too, a perspective at like 30, looking back when you were 18, you're like, oh, like that was a really stupid choice. Like, why did I make that decision? It's like, you've matured, like you've seen, like maybe you did say something or do something that was really dumb in the moment, but at 18, like you're 18, you don't know.
18-year-olds do all kinds of dumb stuff constantly. They don't know what they're doing. Their hormones are all over the place. They have no life experience. Yeah.
Do you tend to write older characters? Is this?
No, I actually jump around a lot, which can be a little whiplashy for me. Because it's hard. I mean, I'm the same age as the characters in this book. They're my age. And so I love that because I don't have to shift my pop culture references. Like I can make all my Gen X music and movie references, and they can use the same slang words that I use, and it's fine. When I'm writing a 20-year-old, like I have to
do some research.
Like, what's their touchstone movie when they were 16? Who did they have a crush on? You know, who was their first celebrity? Like, what was their prom song? And
who was on the cover of their Tiger Beat?
Right, exactly. Like, whose posters do they have? Like, I don't know those things off the top of my head. They tell different jokes. They reference different things. They don't know things that I know. They know all these slang words and things that I don't. Like I'm literally like researching like 20-year-old slang on the internet, trying to sound cool and hip. It's ridiculous. Sometimes I have to ask my kid and they just look at me like I'm an idiot. Like, Mom, just don't even do it.
You're like, it's research. I need to know these things.
Just don't ever use that word.
I constantly have to ask my teenagers, like, what does this mean? I'll see something, like we have a Discord for our community, and I'll be like, I don't know what I'm doing. Can you help me do this? And it makes me feel like my mom and how I felt when she would ask me to help her with the remote. Like,
yeah,
lady, nobody holds the remote like this. Nobody.
Elizabeth, they don't even know what a cassette tape is. She said they don't know how to rewind a cassette tape with a pencil, but they don't even know what that is. Like,
You know, a cassette tape actually plays a big part in this book because
Oh, does
Donald
it?
made Tess a mixtape when they were in high school.
I
and
love a
he still
mixtape.
has it, and it like comes back, and it's like it's this sort of meaningful thing between them that they sort of find. And yeah, because you know, fixed tapes, it was the 80s, right? Like that's what we did.
Well, and like getting that song lined up. So like you stop and start and have like the right kind of gap. Like
Hard.
kids don't know the stress of making the perfect mixtape.
Recording the song off the radio.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Or
that
trying
was
to
not
learn
for
the
the weak.
lyrics.
That
Like
was
trying
not.
to listen to a cassette and try to
And
learn
you had
the
to
lyrics.
rewind.
And you have to rewind and rewind because they didn't have any lyrics on the internet. So if you didn't own the album and they didn't have them in the liner notes, you'd never know.
I mean, they barely had the internet. We had dial-up internet. We were watching a commercial and there was like a dial-up sign in my like sound, and my kids were like, "What is that?" And we're like, "That is how we got online when we were your age."
I still have like a visceral response to that sound. Like it gets me like excited, like, oh, I'm about to check my email.
And then your AOL is going to pop up.
Right.
You've got mail.
Took forever to connect. Forever.
You had to get a second phone line just for your internet.
Yeah. Yeah. You try to
Mhm.
call someone and their phone was busy for hours because they were on the internet.
Mm-hmm. So, Susannah, what inspired you to write in and try and join the Smartypants universe?
Well, Penny Reid's books were some of the first romances that I read when I first started reading romance. I was a big science fiction fantasy fan for a long time. And then I sort of realized that the fan fiction that I was reading was mostly the romance stuff.
Okay.
And so I saw a friend of mine recommended Neanderthal Seeks Human. And I read that, and I read one of Kathy Yardley's early books, she's also a Smartypants romance author. And so that were really influential for me as writers. And I just love Penny's books and I love her world. And so the first time she opened up Smartypants romance to submissions, I talked myself out of it. Because I don't know, it was just like this. I was like, oh, you won't get it. They don't really need you. She doesn't really want you. You have other things that you should be focusing on. And so it took me like 3 go rounds before I finally talked myself into submitting to it. Because I just don't like to be, I don't deal with rejection well. So I don't put myself out there as much as I should. It's like a big thing with me. Like I don't like to put myself out there. So it took me a while to work my way up to it, but it was just something I was so excited about. I just thought it would be the coolest thing in the world. And it turns out it is the coolest thing in the world. So I'm so happy I finally did it.
Go ahead, Leah.
Well, and Penny, like we've heard stories about how elaborate her world is and how she has each person, like every person that is basically mentioned in a book basically has a bio. So it's like if you mention it, like she will tell you who they are, who they're with, like their whole backstory. So I think it's an interesting situation, like as a reader, when you hear those things, because like her world is like no other.
Yeah, it's really, and it's so intimidating to be like, I wrote fan fiction for years. And so I thought, oh, it's going to be fine. But I wasn't writing my fan fiction and then handing it in to the person who created the TV show. Like I didn't have to check with them to make sure that I wasn't stepping on their toes. I could just do whatever I wanted. And it was just hidden on this little corner of the internet where only a few people would see it. So like writing a book set in one of Penny's universe and then giving her that book and then like being, I hope this is okay. I hope I didn't ruin your characters. Did I completely misunderstand them? Like, did I really screw this up? It's really intimidating. And she's great though. I mean, she's so wonderful to work with. And there are certain things we have to sort of steer away from because you don't want to create canon that is going to mess her up along the line. I don't know what she's planning for the future. She doesn't tell us everything. So like, there's just stuff we just have to kind of be careful to steer around because you don't want to box her into anything. And she'll say, she'll be like, don't do that. Maybe try something different there.
Step away from that piece.
Could we not? But I mean, that doesn't happen that often because it's
like,
it's a really collaborative. The author, like you can talk to her, you can talk to, Brooke, who knows everything about all of her books. The other authors, we talk to each other, about what are you planning? Can I use one of your characters? What did you find when you were looking this up? So it's great.
Well, that was going to be my next question because this specific world, there have been three of you, like
Yeah.
you, Nancy, and Heidi, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So do the three of you talk about like which characters you're using and how those characters can connect, or do you kind of keep them
some
separate?
extent. It kind of, we mostly write the books separately. It really depends on what your idea, like everybody comes up with their own idea for a book. So if your book depends a lot on another author's characters or on Penny's characters, then you need to sort of collaborate more. But my books don't depend that much on other people's characters. And so I have, talked to some of the authors when there's been overlap, but there's not a ton of overlap. At one point, Nancy and I were trying to figure out like how to get a character from her book with a character from my book. And like, it just didn't work out because it just didn't fit with what either of us had outlined already. So we ended up not doing it, but we tried. It just, you just kind of, you wing it a little bit and see what works out and what doesn't.
Well, because I always thought it was interesting because I've read a few different like Smartypants ones from different worlds. I haven't read all of them because there's so many books and there's only so much time. But I thought it was interesting because like everybody brings in characters from like their previous series if they have them and weaves them in a way that's organic and it works really well. But those are like characters and worlds that they've created. But I thought it was interesting because every once in a while, like you'll randomly come across another one and I'm like, oh, that's really exciting because I read their book. Like, how are they using them? Are they using them in a way that I'm going to like, or I'm going to be frustrated? But that was one thing with the Smartypants world is there's the rare occasion of frustration in the way any of the characters are presented.
I would say, sorry, I was getting ready to send your purchase link for everybody to, if they haven't pre-ordered, not since that they can click on that and move over. I think that you mentioned canon. I think of all the collaborative worlds, Penny Reed's worlds have the most intense canon as far as like everything sticks very close into it. Do you find yourself reading everybody else's books and being like, okay.
Oh, for sure. Like, right. Yeah. Like you have to, and like, I haven't read them all, but I've read pieces of a lot of them because I have to kind of research, like I have to be like, okay, who used this character? Now I have to go read it to like, you have to, and so and I have a really bad memory too. So I constantly am having to go back and reread like Penny's books to remind myself about things because her fans know her books so well. So you mess up, they're gonna notice right away if you like screw up some sort of reference or contradict something that's in canon. And so you don't want to do that. So I'm constantly having to like dig through and like I try to find like I like to put Easter eggs in from other books. And so like Anne Wynot's book, which is in the Green Valley world, it's not the same universe as mine, but because the world overlap, right? It's all connected. And so her characters played this video game and my character was going to play a video game. And so I use the same video game. So now this is like a video game that exists in the world of all of these books. And I was like messaging Anne and I'm like, so what kinds of races and characters and spells are you having in your game? Like, and we're like trying to figure out, because I don't want to contradict her stuff, right? But yeah, it's really fun to try and pick and choose stuff that you can slip in there to make the world feel more rich and real.
Well, and that is one thing, like the Smartypants world, like there's a very rabid fan base. And I'm not using rabid in a bad term in this sense.
They're devoted.
They're very devoted. That's a much better, a little rabid too. But like they're very devoted and they want those things correct. But I will say about the Smartypants world fan base is they are not the type of fan base that will go after an author and be like, hey, this is wrong. And then like annihilate them. They'll be like, hey, just so you know, maybe you should reread this part and see if maybe we can fix it. And let's go from there.
Yeah. They're super, super nice. So, I mean, I shouldn't be scared of it, but I'm still scared of it just because I don't want to let them down. Like I want to get it right. I'm like, that's always been the way I was. Even in fanfic, I was like, really like, I was just such a perfectionist about not missing up the canon. So that's just me.
Well, and as a reader, we appreciate that all of the authors in this world take such care with the whole world in itself. So how many books have you personally written in just the Smartypants world?
This is just my second in this.
This is just your second. Now, are we going to see more from you past this, or is that one of those things you're allowed to talk about, but you're not allowed to talk about?
Not really allowed to say until they announce it, but
that's what I figured.
Probably, I would love it. So probably yes.
We know that Penny is a fan of you can say this much, but not this much.
Yeah,
like, I'll give you an inch. You cannot go that second inch.
I mean, that's the way it is with, like, you just don't want to box them into stuff, right? Like, I don't want to be running my mouth off and then they change their mind and something happens and it doesn't work out the way that, Penny doesn't like to just like disappoint her readers. So she doesn't want to say anything unless she knows it's true.
Yeah.
It's got to be really set. Like, she just, So
signed, sealed, and almost delivered for it to be.
You don't get people excited about something and then have it not work out.
That is fair. That is fair. Okay, so Not Since You comes out October 6th. And like we said, it is a second chance enemies to lovers late in life over 40 romance. And I just popped that cover up again in the center so everybody can take a good look at it. I just love these characters. Now that she's like over 40, like, is there real body rep then for her too? Like, we talk about what it's like to have a body of a 40-year-old?
Not quite as much in this book because she is just, this is just who she is she's just one of those women who just exercises a lot and takes really good care of herself. That's just who she is. That's part of her personality. Now, in Mad About You, she, like, that character actually had a hysterectomy in the course of the book. And so, she was very much like, she had been a stay-at-home mom and she had 2 kids. And so she has the body of a 49-year-old stay-at-home mom, who's having a hysterectomy. And that was really important to me, that it be realistic. And so, yes, but in this book, the heroine is she's just that type A kind of person who she really cares about her appearance. She like has insomnia. She exercises when she's stressed and she's constantly stressed. But
that in itself, like,
that feels real.
It feels very real because, like, I know people who, like, are very in shape, but they have like insane amount of stress and insomnia. And it's like, that is how they cope. And it's so that essentially, like, that's a real body rep right there. Cause, like, she would not be that type of person if she was not so, like, I have to, like, work out this energy and, like, frustration.
Yeah, she's not just hot for hot's sake. She's, it's just it's a factor of her personality and the way she lives her life.
I love that though.
That's awesome. I love that. Okay, well, we are super excited for Not Since You. This whole lineup for this fall release is just phenomenal. Really so excited. There's so many books. Susannah, we're going to put you back in the waiting room. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks so much for having me.
It was very in sync there that we said that.
I know, right? Like, that doesn't happen very often. Okay, thank you so much.
Thanks.
Okay, so next up here in a couple minutes is going to be author Heidi Hutchinson. If anybody has any questions, you guys can throw them up in the chat. We will do our best to answer them.
Jenny is moderating the chat tonight.
So is Liz.
Liz and Liz, because there are 2 Smartypants romance fanatics.
Yeah. Okay, so what did we think of this first cover, guys? Yeah?
I like it.
It's so pretty. So pretty.
And you're right. Like, when you look at a Smartypants cover, like, you can tell which world it's from just by looking at the book.
Yeah.
And I love that.
So, everyone's like, we love it. We love it. It is. I'm excited for this. It wasn't until I was looking through the blurbs today that I realized it was a late in life over 40 romance. And that is very intriguing to me. So,
well, and that's something that I will say about this world too, is like, it is not just young adult, new adult. Actually, I don't think there's any YA, but it's not just new adult, college age, like late, like early 20s, like relationships. Like, it runs the full gamut. And that is one reason, like, this world is, like, so dynamic and I'm drawn to it, because there is a huge, like, diversification of, like, the relationships.
So you can't tell anybody what your favorite in Smartypants is, but earlier today I was talking with Liz, and there's like a side piece of Smartypants that is my absolute favorite, and Jenny has the t-shirt, and I'm desperate for a t-shirt, and that is the Morel support group that is in Green Valley and part of the
Yeah, so if
Forest Through
anybody
the Trees.
listening is an author, Becky would love these people to be a book.
No, they're just the old grannies. They're so
You would
funny.
love them to have their own novella, though.
Yeah, like
Like
oh my god,
just
they
the
get in so much
events
trouble.
of the Morel support team.
So do you have like a favorite side? I know what your favorite piece so far in all the books is the food references in 2 certain books of Smartypants.
It's true.
But we're not talking about those. Is there like a side piece that you love?
Honestly, no. I don't have a favorite part because the world itself is so dynamic and there are so many good parts of it that I just love. Like and the fact that it pulls from the original Penny books but you get those pieces just as strong as if you're reading one of her books. It's like you're reading one of the side characters. But there has not been a Smartypants book that I have read that does not have a dynamic story and dynamic characters in some aspect. And yes, the food references in 2 are very, very good and very, very dirty.
If you do not know what we are talking about, Leah is obsessed with intercourse that has food.
No,
involved.
I'm not. Don't say that.
Because it's true.
Because I just like to read about it.
She's all red. She's like, oh my god, I hate you. I'm going to be yelled at.
I just said that too. Live on the YouTube.
It's okay.
You
Okay.
bring it out. It's your fault.
Next up is author Heidi Hutchinson, and we are going to hear all about her lineup. Everybody is laughing at us. Okay, she's a couple minutes early, so hopefully she's here so I don't embarrass Leah anymore.
I feel like that is your goal in life, is to embarrass me and stress me out.
It is. I mean, stressing you out is a bonus.
Hi.
Heidi.
There, I think I got my mute off.
Hi.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
We're good. Welcome to the happy hour of chaos.
I embarrassed Leah, so we brought you in early because we weren't sure how to rebound from that.
I'm sorry she embarrassed you.
Okay, she does it all the time.
I do.
It's one of her goals in life.
My goal in life is to like drive her bonkers. Like my favorite thing to do is if an author sells me a book as a standalone, I like to pick book 6 in the middle of a 9-book series to see if it actually does stand alone. I feel like I'm doing community service. And we refer to that as macheteing a series, and it drives
She
Leah
stresses
bonkers.
me out, but she does it to stress me out and also to prove that yes, it can stand alone. But anyway, welcome, Heidi. Oh, excuse me.
We're super excited to have you here this evening.
Super excited to be here.
We are super nerdy and super awkward, so bear with us.
That sounds normal to me. So
Well, you'll fit right in with us though.
So Heidi is she is writing in the Common Thread series, part of the Chicago World. Okay. Welcome to Happy Hour, Heidi.
Okay, so Heidi writes stories that she hopes will inspire her readers to take their hearts on one more adventure. She lives in the Black Hills with her alarmingly handsome husband, their fearless child, and a rather large and spoiled dog. She is fueled by unwavering, perfectly normal devotion to Dave Grohl. I like that. And coffee, also that, and a whole lot of love.
Have you read his autobiography?
yes.
Yeah, the audiobook, he reads his own audiobook.
Yeah,
Ooh.
that too. Both. In fact, and I got 2 print copies for Christmas from people who know me. So
Nice.
I have extras, and it's there's nothing wrong with that, of course.
No, absolutely not. Okay, so we will kick this off in the traditional Bees way. What are you drinking this evening?
I am drinking a rosé, but not just any rosé. I am drinking the Mason No. 9 rosé from Post Malone.
Oh,
Yeah,
That's like fancy rosé.
it's so good. Like, it's so good. I like rosé. It's wonderful for a hot summer's day. Rosé is just that, it's crisp, it's fresh, it's tart, it's everything you love about it. This is the best one I've ever had, easily.
Really?
But there's a story behind it. So if
Okay.
you want to know it, let me know and I'll tell you.
I would like to know.
Tell us.
So the book that we're talking about tonight, Lost Track, right?
Mhm.
Right?
My main character, Sunshine Capone, was very casually and loosely based on Post Malone. Okay. So at the beginning of the book, I was a very casual fan. By the time I was done writing the book, there was nothing casual about how much I love him. And throughout the book, they're constantly drinking pink wine. Like, it's a joke. It's a reference. It's something that just keeps happening. And then right before I finished it, like a week before I finished it, I found out Post Malone makes his own. And I was like, oh my God, it's meant to be. And so that's how I celebrated. After I finished it and I turned it in, I went out and I got that bottle of wine and I drank it. And it's the best rosé I've ever had. So
Okay. Everyone's like, we're gonna have to go find it now.
Mhm.
oh, good.
It
Okay.
was destined to be right there.
I mean,
It was.
it's kind of like kismet, isn't it? I mean,
Mhm.
Right?
100%.
Okay, so Lost Track, we are going to pop up the cover for everybody to see. You will not see it, Heidi, just the people on the YouTube.
I've seen it
You
before.
see it. I love it though. I love the blue skirt, and I'm a big fan of stripes. So like that, I was like immediately like,
I would
ooh.
wear that. I would wear that outfit.
It's a cute little outfit.
Mhm.
Okay, so we'll push it small now. Hey, Leah, will you give us the blurb for Lost Track?
Okay, I probably won't say this first name correctly, but Sabine DuBois likes her wine pink and her life unpredictable. As a private tutor for the rich and famous, she doesn't get starstruck. But when a tattooed espresso fiend saves her from death by sweater, she's a little bit grateful. That's all, just grateful. Sunshine Capone just had the best album of his career, and then his girlfriend burned down his house. Well, his ex-girlfriend now. So he moved to Chicago to focus on his music and avoid the drama of relationships. He should not be creating any excuse to hang out with the sweet teacher with the hazel eyes and bright smile. She doesn't need his kind of confusion in her life. But Sabine's about to teach this superstar a thing or two about peace, love, and understanding. And Lost Track is a full-length contemporary romance and can be written as read as a standalone book number 5 in the Common Thread series, Seduction in the City World Penny Reed book universe.
Okay, over in the chat, I have put all the places where you can follow Miss Heidi. Again, remember, it's super helpful to follow authors on Amazon so that helps you with all the search algorithm stuff. This book, Lost Track, releases October 6th. It is a slow burn, friends to lovers, rock star romance. Okay, like, Jenny's super excited about Sunshine. Is he a big character? Because I don't know him.
Well, he was in Key Change briefly. Well, kind of. He was like a supporting character in Key Change.
Okay.
Which was my
But
first
apparently he
book.
made an impression.
Yeah. He was an accident. Like, he sort of just walked onto the page and I was like, oh, okay, who are you? And I couldn't get him out of my head. And so when it was time to write the next book, I was like, I know who it is.
That's the best kind of accident right there.
Yeah. And his personality is 100% based on my husband's personality. So, I mean, I've written, I don't know how, some books. I've written some books, and I don't know how many. It's more than 10. I don't know. And people always ask me, are any of your heroes based on your husband? All of them, yes. But I've never had a character that I really like everything about how they thought, how they responded to things.
Mhm.
Like, he is everything that my husband is. And so it was very difficult to write it at the same time, because I was like, I love him so much. But, I didn't, so it was hard to let him go.
Uh-huh.
I was like, no, he's mine. No one else can see him. Like, I wanted to keep him safe. But I did it.
That's
Anyway.
People are loving it. Jenny, Liz, and whoever Ball family is, they all loved Keychain.
They love
Keychain?
Keychain and they're excited that Sunshine is back.
Mhm.
I love his name. What is the inspiration for the name?
Okay, Sunshine. Well, I tell the story in the book, like towards the very end. It's kind of like he just mentions how he was always getting in trouble at school. And so to sort of curb that, he would pick flowers and bring flowers to the teacher. And one day he actually picked flowers from the teacher's own yard to give to her, you know? And she was like, you're like a little happiness gangster. Like, she's like, it's so hard to be mad at you. And she's like, and that's how he came up with it, as Sunshine Capone then became his stage name. His real name is Dave. You know, he's like a regular dude. He's not super cool in real life is how he sees it. Like Sunshine Capone is a persona that he takes on.
I love that.
love
A
that.
happiness gangster. I kind of love that.
I'm gonna write that down.
Well, that's okay. I just went and bought myself Keychain so that I can read it. Like, I have all the time in the world to be reading.
You have so much time to read books that we have no business reading right now.
Leah and I do not stick to TBRs. Like, we have assigned books that we're supposed to be reading, and both of our jobs are in publishing. But
we're not reading what we're supposed to be reading at all right now. Like, Becky's going down a rabbit hole. I went down a dirty novella rabbit hole this morning. I was like, yeah, I have to do this and this and this, but nope, I'm gonna read this stuff first.
Heidi, do you have merchandise and stickers for Sunshine that say Happiness Gangster?
Not yet, but I will.
People are screaming for Happiness Gangster stickers, just so you know.
I will when the book comes out. That'll be all part of my swag stuff. So yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
awesome.
I'll have temporary tattoos in the big Sunshine one, because he has a big sun on his throat, like, and because he's covered in tattoos, head to toe. He's got tattoos everywhere. So, which is funny because that part is not my husband. My husband does not have any tattoos at all. He's like, no, he won't do that.
Do you have a special order anywhere for like a swag pack and a signed copy of Lost Track or anything like that? Not yet.
Should I have one?
No, we Kilby Blades did when she did Forest Through the Trees. It was through the bookstore in Chicago. What is that? Arrows or something? I can't think of the name. Anyway, and so you got a signed copy of the book and some swag, which, you know, give me a sticker. I will buy anything for a sticker.
You do love your stickers.
I
like
love
stickers too.
I'm obsessed with stickers. Like,
They're awesome.
It's a problem. And Leah does not like stickers, so I'm constantly shipping her stickers. And she's
I have like stacks of stickers. No, the last pack of stickers that Becky sent me, like my kids went through, they're like, I'm gonna take this one and this one and this one. I'm like, have at them. I don't want them.
Love Sweet Arrow. That's the name of the bookstore. Yeah. Anyway, so
Thank you.
You said you were gonna have like stickers and tattoos, and I'm like, I need to order the book with all that stuff. So, so this is your second book, third book in Smartypants?
This is my second one in Smartypants. Yep.
Smartypants. Okay. What's the best part of writing in the Smartypants universe?
Oh goodness. The best part of writing in the Smartypants. Okay. So do you watch Marvel movies?
Yeah.
You know, when you're watching a Marvel movie and Stan Lee shows up, and
I
that's
love that.
and everybody remembers that scene in the movie.
Oh, and you wait for them.
Writing the cameos. That's probably my favorite part. Like, I love writing the stories anyway, but being able to stick a cameo in of characters that I adore, you know, and knowing that other people are going to recognize them. Oh, that's a thrill like no other. I love it so much. That's my favorite part.
When the opportunity came for you to submit your story ideas, we've heard from a couple of different people we've, talked, and some of them we're going to talk to again later tonight. They all doubted themselves, like talked themselves out of the first time. Somebody else we know, I think it was Nora Everly. She didn't tell anyone, or maybe it was Lainey Hatcher. She didn't tell anyone until after she submitted because she was just so what's your submission story? Did you know as soon as you saw, you were like, I'm in, I'm doing this?
Okay. So I was part of the group that discussed the universe being created before it became a thing. And then I got some really bad health news. So when the first launch submissions, when we were able to submit, I was not in a place where I could write at all. Like I was down to publishing 1 book a year. Writing had become almost impossible for me. I was really struggling with some personal stuff. And so I was like, okay, well, maybe next time, and I was disappointed because I wanted to, just because the fangirl in me, I was just like, I just want to play in the world. Even if they say no, I just want to play for a minute and have it, be something. And then launch 2 came around and I still wasn't feeling like I could, because after launch 1 came out, it became very obvious that I was going to need to submit something good, like not mediocre, like I was going to have, this was going to have to be the best thing I have ever written. And so launch 2 came around and I was, again, not in a place I could do it. And so then, but when we got to launch 3, I was off my medication and everything. And I was finally getting back to like a place where I felt normal. And I was like, okay, I'm going to try it. And I spent all of the time writing that first chapter, like all of it. I sent it to 2 of my betas that I trust a whole bunch. And then 1 person who I know had read all of the Smartypants books and all of Penny's books. And I was like, what do you think? Like, what could I change? What needs to be, added, or is this stupid? Should I not even do this? Is this just a bad idea? Am I going to embarrass myself? And I finished it and I felt okay about it. And I felt okay about it because I knew I had tried as hard as I'd ever tried on anything before in my life, because I wanted it so much. But I waited until the last minute to actually send it in. Like it was the deadline up to the minute. I was like, okay, fine, send. And I sent it and I was like, all right, it's out of my hands. And then after that, I just tried not to think about it because I was like, well, I already did everything I could. So
it has to be, especially in a world, in a place that you love, in stories that you love, to take that step and to say, I'm at that level. I can write in this world. I can do these stories justice by telling my versions or giving my piece into them. So there's some level of intimidation and all of that. But I mean, as we have seen, the books coming out of Smartypants are amazing. They are some of our favorites. And so, once you're in, it's got to be kind of like, I'm in the cool kid club. I got the jacket.
Oh, I thought I was going to throw up. The day that I found out I was in, I had a full-on panic attack. I had to lay on the floor underneath the ceiling fan naked and just be like, to calm down. And then, I'm trying to tell my husband, I'm like, yes, what happened? Of course, he thinks something's gone wrong, and he's like, I'm going to be home soon. And I'm like, no, it's fine. It's good news. It was so overwhelming. And yeah, the imposter syndrome is real, and you just sort of have to be like, okay, I know you're here and you're calling me a loser. And that's great. But can you just sit over here and be quiet for just a minute? I got to finish this, And you get through it. The other authors are amazing. They're so supportive, so encouraging, just the most delightful people I've ever met in my life.
Yeah.
And they made
They're some of our favorite people too. So
that's the thing. Like we've heard from different people like talking about, excuse me, like the Smartypants like world collaboration, like authors here, like all of them together, like how nice of a group of people they are. And Becky and I have been lucky enough to interview a bunch and talk to a bunch and like claim some as friends also. And they really are one of the best groupings of authors.
They really are.
Okay, so let's get back to Sunshine and Sabine, right? Did I say it right?
Yeah.
Leah, I said the name right.
I know you did. Do you want a sticker?
I want a little less snarkiness there, sister friend. So Sabine is a private tutor, a teacher. What does she, is for like their children or just?
Mostly for children of celebrities or people of wealth, basically. She can't, without giving away too much, she can't work in public schools because she doesn't pass the background check.
Oh, so she's got a history.
Nope.
Nope. Oh,
it's not her history.
Oh.
Her mom is in federal prison for embezzlement and fraud, but like for a while, her mom was using her identity. So then when they do the background check, it comes up as her.
Oh,
Yeah.
plot
So it's
twist.
like people who can afford a better background check rather than just like the general version
Yeah.
will hire her to tutor their kids, because obviously she's not the one that did the, you know, the thievery. But she can't work in like public schools and stuff like that because, you know, it's one red flag and they're like, nope, see you later.
So is she a little bit of a sunshiny person herself too? Because in the blurb it says she's just grateful. Just like,
Yeah, she's a really cool person. I mean, like most teachers I've met are so patient and so kind, you know, and they're just a different breed of people. They're to want to go into that kind of a field to teach. And it's such a, it's an industry that gets no thanks. It really doesn't, you know? And so she's this different kind of a person where she's just always looking for that silver lining a little bit, you know, and she's had to get through some hard stuff. I mean, her parents kind of suck and all that stuff. And she's just like, whatever, I'm gonna live my life and it's mine and no one can take that from me because it's mine. She's just very self-confident.
I love that though, because you don't always find that in a romance where like the heroine is this strong, confident person who doesn't really need anybody like to help her in any way. Like, I'm not saying that they don't exist in the romance world. They totally do. But I love like when I come across a heroine like that.
Yeah, I really liked her. She was very sweet and perfect for what he needed. So
is this, are these characters similar to what you would write in your books that are outside the Smartypants? Because you have
yeah,
several, lots.
I have some books. Yeah,
She wrote some books.
Written some books
That are outside of the Smartypants universe. So do you tend to try to find these kind of characters that are just, there's layers to them, but there's also this gratitude, this delight to them? Is this typical of the characters you write?
I think so. I was having a conversation with one of my readers once. She's so cool. She's going to be embarrassed if I talk about her, but I met her a couple of times in person. You know, she stalked me online and then came to a couple of signings, and she's just this really remarkable, neat lady. And we were just having this private conversation about different things. And we started talking about how to read my books, the readers who really love them are really comfortable with their feelings because they're going to end up feeling a lot. We go the whole way. We don't just focus on angst. We don't just focus on gratitude. Like it's a full person, you know, you got that range in there and you feel really big. So if you're scared of your feelings, my book's probably not so much for you, but if you're just like, hey, yeah, feelings, yes, then you might like them, you know, because they're real, they're big, we're full people. So I like to write about how that happens in us, you know.
And do you lean into the rock stars? Because I just now downloaded Learn to Fly.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Yes, I do lean into the rock stars. The rock stars.
Becky's a big fan of the rock stars.
I love the rock star romances. Like for over a year, I've been trying to get Leah to do an episode where we're going to build a band of different characters from different books. Like, so a lead singer from one band, a keyboard player from another. And Leah doesn't read rock star romances.
No, I have not liked the ones that I have read.
Okay. She doesn't like the ones she's read.
I have not found that niche of rock star romances that I enjoy. But clearly I have not been reading the correct ones.
I told you that for like a year now.
But again, I do not have time.
So my rock star series that starts with Learn to Fly is based on my love for the Foo Fighters.
Of
like
course.
it just became obsession and then it became a story.
I mean, you stole the name from them, so it works.
Yeah. And the next book too, in your honor, absolutely.
Oh, so it's a whole Foo Fighters theme there.
It's a whole Foo
Fighters. Because I do like the Foo Fighters.
Well, yeah, you're a human being. You have to, right?
I'm being yelled at in the chat told I have to bump Keychain up on my TBR. So apparently I can't, Leah, I'm sorry. I am unable to read the books that are assigned to me.
Oh, she's a reformed rock star. Even better.
Oh, she's so mean. She's so mean.
I will like her.
She's bad. She's a bad girl. She's very bad.
I mean,
like good bad or bad bad?
No, like bad. Like,
oh,
okay. She showed up in my very first book, Learn to Fly.
okay.
And everyone hated her. I still get emails to this day from people being like, I hate this girl. I wanted her to get hit by a bus. And I'm like, yeah, no, I know. She was real bad. But she was always in the back of my mind, you know? And so then I wanted to write a book for her. And then I told one of my betas, one of my best friends actually is one of my betas. And I told her, like, I'm going to write an Ashton James book. And she's like, no, you're going to make me like her. I was like, I want to see if I can do it. I want to see, I've redeemed the bad boy, you know? I wanted to see if I could redeem the bad girl. It's so hard to redeem a female character because women are hard on other women, you know, and the majority of my readers are women. So will they forgive her? Will they accept her? Like, what? I don't know. Like, I knew going in, I was like, this could be a grenade. This could be very bad. But I had to do it. I had to know.
But if you can do that, so honestly though, if you can change our minds from changing, like even one romance reader from not loving a villain and then rooting for the villain, like you become top tier one click on every book you've ever written, because an author did that to us. She took
with two
characters. She took the villain from one book and the villain from another book that both were
put them together
bad, and then she put them together, and now they're my favorite characters in her whole series. And I'm like, that was mean of you to do. Like, don't do that.
But we love her, but we love it at the same time, because it honestly, it is the true testament to a well developed author in book that you can take a character that people despise and make us fall in love with them. I love that. I think it is one of the best things that an author can do.
Because Elizabeth is like, her redemption is so good. So apparently why haven't read this, Leah?
Because apparently we're idiots.
Apparently.
It's closed door. That could be why. Some people don't read closed door. So
if I
it
know
could be why we have not
in,
done it yet. But now that we know.
Is, as long as I know going in, I am perfectly okay. When I get bonkers and really, my bonkers is to those people that are like trying to sell me a book and telling me, ooh, this is really steamy, really spicy, sexiest book I ever read. And I read it. They don't do any. There's like 3 kisses and some coffee dates.
Or 1 kiss. And Becky tells you to read the book and tells you how good it is. And they kiss once the entire book.
It was a holiday book.
It doesn't matter.
Like the holidays.
One kiss, Becky.
Christ.
1 kiss.
You made me read a book that they didn't.
It wasn't even closed
have
door.
Sex till 98%.
They at least had sex.
It was 98%.
Well, I did write a sex scene for the book, but it got put on the Smartypants Patreon then. So it's like it got written.
Oh, so it exists.
It exists.
I'm okay with that. But no, honestly though, we are being like, we like to joke about it, but it is one of those things, like if we know going into a book, like it is closed door, like, but the story itself is so dynamic, we don't even care.
Well, that's good.
Also, Heidi's never coming back because we just like had a fight right here. She's like,
or
she's gonna email Brooke and be like,
because we had a fight.
What the heck is wrong with you? Why are you letting me talk to these people?
Or she's going to email Brooke and say, I love these people so much. What can I do to talk to them more?
That's what it is.
Someone's like, you two crack me up.
Well, thank you, because we hear a lot and we accept that.
Excellent.
We always tell people, we're like, yeah, we're kind of extra. So you might want to test us out first to make sure that.
Like we host a drunk book club, and so we offer people to come and hang out with us. Like they can do a test run of drunk book club, because we like to say we are not everybody's cup of tea, but we do fit really well with other people.
I want to come to that.
You can come.
I will send you an email. We have one coming up August 20th. Okay, so I'm gonna put a link in the chat. This is to pre-order Lost Track.
Yeah.
What the heck is wrong with me?
It's hard to say. I screwed up too.
You have Coke tonight. You don't even have tequila.
Right, and I have fizzy orange mandarin orange water. Okay, I'm going to put the big cover up on the screen so everybody can see it again. It's so pretty though. And because I did look at Keychain's cover, and she's wearing like a leather jacket, and it's a little more like, so I can see that this heroine's going to be a little bit more like sweeter, kinder, in her cute little skirt and dress.
I do
So
love that cover so much, though.
I do too.
There's a lot of Jessica Day in her, so
yeah, I like
I
that.
love Jessica Day.
it's a lot. In fact, when they're making the cover, they're like, "What's your inspo?" And I'm like, "Anything that Jess Day would wear, anything." Then that's what
I mean, that is good inspo right there.
Leah, like, how many books have you pre-ordered over there tonight?
0, because that would open up another window, and I don't have space for that. I have a list.
You have a list.
I made a list.
Okay. So Lost Track comes out October 6th. This is, again, a slow burn, friends to lovers, rock star romance. Make sure you guys are following Heidi all the places and pre-order Lost Track so that it can be there live on your devices first thing in the morning on October 6th. Heidi, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for
Yes,
having me.
thank you.
Anytime. You are welcome back to come hang out. Anytime. Because we're always happy to make new friends. And
I mean, we do claim them whether they like it or not.
even if you didn't want to
how
be
I
our
made all
friend.
my friends. Yeah.
See, even if you didn't want to be our friend, you're a friend now.
That stalking
okay with that.
bookstagrammer, that's totally us.
Yeah. We are the stalking bookstagrammers. That should totally have been our name.
You can make a sticker.
You should.
Huh? We'll
I'll
make a
write it
sticker.
down.
You write that down. Okay, Heidi, I'm going to put you back into the waiting room. Once again, Lost Track out October the 6th. Make sure you grab your copy. And thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Yes,
Thank you.
Okay. Next up is Miss Allie Stiles, and we'll bring her on here in a second. I need all these books. I don't even care that they're Fade to Black or Closed Door.
Honestly, though, like going into it, if we know it's coming, like it doesn't bug me.
It doesn't.
And it sounds like it's so good anyway that like I won't even notice.
Also, the hero's name is Sunshine Capone. He's a
Yeah, that's pretty
happiness
awesome.
gangster.
A happiness gangster. This has been such a fun night already, and we're only 2 authors down.
We're only 2 in. We have 3 more authors to go, plus, but actually 5 more books to announce.
Mm-hmm.
So
good.
it's so good. Jenny's having some fangirl moments. Jenny, breathe in, get a sip of water. We're going to bring her on here in a minute.
Maybe take a shot.
Everyone's TBR is growing. You know what? Mine does
You're
too.
welcome. You're welcome.
You're
It's
welcome.
honestly, that's the thing. Like, I think people don't think that our TBRs get really big when we do this stuff, but they do. Like our
anytime I
TBRs,
have Anytime I have a
our
conversation
TBRs
with anybody.
explode. It's bad.
Yeah. Like
Like, we
Amanda
just-
has talked about a couple books in the last week that she's like, ooh, this book and this book. Because we're always looking for our best book of the
But
year.
I think the fact that you and I don't actually have real TBRs and we just kind of do what we want, we don't really talk about it as much. But
Yeah.
yes, for those who think that part of our goal is just to destroy your TBR, don't worry. You do it to us right back.
Right.
So thank
Right?
you.
Thank you. Well, and every time we do one of these events, like I am adding all these books to my TBR too. Elizabeth pre-ordered them all, so when they dropped it a couple weeks ago.
I'm not surprised by that.
Everybody has this. Okay, so I think we're off. There's no my tech is working. I'm so excited. Anyway, here we go. We are going to bring on Miss Allie Stiles. And it's another
Excuse me.
rock star.
Hi, can you hear me?
We
Oh, wait,
can
wait.
hear you.
Where's my video? Hold on.
There should be a little
Yeah,
camera.
sorry.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
sorry.
okay. Hello.
Okay, I'm on vacation, so I've rigged up this whole thing. I literally have I have a coffee table and a CPAP case and a chair. It's just I have no idea if it's working. So if you
Oh
can't
no,
hear
it's
me,
working
let me know.
perfectly.
You're doing great.
Thanks for hanging out with us while you're on
You
vacation.
just got way more information than you wanted, I'm sure.
No,
But
I
No,
actually
that's
am
fine.
honored that you would take like a half an hour out of your vacation to talk to
well,
I
of
wanna be on
course.
vacation.
What's a vacation, Leah?
All
Do we
I've
go
done
on
is
Getting
read
COVID?
and write the entire time anyway, so it's fine.
It's like being
It
at
sounds
home,
like
right?
the perfect
It's
vacation.
literally like it's everything I do at home, but with a beach in the background. That is what my vacation is.
You get
so.
like that smell, like the
You do.
oceany smell.
You do, and the screaming
'Cause-
children and stuff.
Well,
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I get that too.
Okay,
but
so Brooke apparently is so excited because you have your Nash shirt on.
Oh well, I don't want to give it away. No, sorry.
Okay.
I wore my costume for tonight. Yes,
her
I
Oh.
bought. As soon as I saw this shirt in Nashville, I did a signing in Nashville and I saw this shirt and I didn't even try it on. I didn't even look what size it was. I just pulled
You're
it
like,
off
I'm just
the
buying
rack and
this.
bought it. This is the first time I've tried it on too. I put it on for this. I'm like, oh, I hope it actually like doesn't have a huge hole in it or something. But yeah, anyway,
That's
yeah, I'm
so
ready to
fun.
go.
Well, welcome to Happy Hour. We are super
Thank
excited
you.
to have you here. Okay, so in our traditional way, we always ask everybody what they're drinking. So, what are you drinking this evening?
Well, because I'm on vacation, so I am drinking caipirinha, which was made by my very good friend Winston Silva. And he made it this afternoon and was supposed to drink it on the beach, but then I knew this was happening. So I dumped
What
it in a
is in
Gatorade.
that?
Well, I dumped it in a Gatorade bottle, an empty Gatorade bottle, smuggled it back to my room, froze it, and then thawed it back out just for this. So
Okay.
It's
It's
so
my favorite
fancy,
drink.
though.
It's my favorite drink. It's lime, lime, sugar, and oh my gosh, my mind just blanked out. Cachaça. I'm sorry, cachaça. The Brazilian. It's almost like a kind of tastes like rum, but not really. It's like a Brazilian alcohol thing. But
Okay.
anyway, delicious.
Sounds
Anything
yummy.
with lime, I will drink. Anything, like anything, literally.
I'm
I mean, I'll
pretty
drink
sure.
almost anything anyway. So
I was going to say, I really don't have discerning taste. Gin. I don't really like gin. Gin is not my
that's
I-
stupid.
I don't either, but if you put lime in it, I will probably drink it. I don't know.
A sidecar.
Gin and
Then
lime
you
is
probably
very
would like a
yummy.
sidecar.
Well, gin
Anything.
and
If it's
tonic
all-
too. It has lime in it.
It's gross. It tastes like you licked a Christmas tree. You know those
It does not
tree
taste
air
gross.
fresheners?
I don't know
I'm
what
not.
kind
I'm
of
not
gin
a
you're
fan.
drinking,
I'm not
but
a fan. No.
Yeah.
But we did make up a gin and tonic drink for this Christmas party that we were at, and I used it in a book because it became like the most popular cocktail at this party. It was gin and tonic with a splash of grapefruit juice.
Ooh.
And everyone started ordering it, and the bartender said he has never gone through so much grapefruit juice in one night.
It
And
sounds
it was
really
like
good.
we called
I
it a
would drink
pink
that.
we called it a pink tuxedo. So
That's cute.
yeah.
I like that.
Someone
Leah,
can make it.
will you read Allie's bio for us?
Yes, from angsty and dark to snort, laugh, funny, Allie writes from her soul to yours. Although her books span many genres, usually with a twist on the trope, all her stories feature richly developed characters and often contain emotionally gripping but inspirational themes about finding the light in the darkness. Allie is a musician, cat lover, and terrible cook. Really terrible. She's a classically trained harpist who now sings, produces, and plays keys in several band environments. Excuse me. In her limited free time, she's a black belt training in Kyokushin karate
It's really good. Yeah. Really good.
and
Kyokushin.
binge watching Netflix.
Yeah.
That was a tough word
Yeah,
to
good.
say.
It's not an easy word. I mean that bio was not designed to be read out loud. So
That's okay. So a classically trained harpist. That's pretty neat.
that's my background. I mean, I'm a rocker now. Like everything, all the stuff I'm producing now is all
Mhm.
kind of industrial, alt rock type stuff. But yeah, my background is actually classical. So like that's what paid my bills in college, and I played for weddings and dinners and stuff like that. So
That's pretty cool. My niece actually wanted to learn how to play the harp, so she took some lessons. She has like a great ear. Like she's been playing violin since she was like 5, and like
Okay.
any instrument she picks up, she's very good at. But she was really interested in the harp for a while.
Like a
Yeah,
piece of
I mean,
furniture.
I mean, it's yeah.
She had a
it
little
really
one,
is.
like a tabletop one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I play the big, huge one that you need a minivan. I was the nerd in high school that had to drive a station wagon because I needed a vehicle that my heart would fit in. But it's not like you can tell people that. Like you can't put a sign on your station wagon that says, "Don't worry, like I'm actually
just my
cool.
heart."
It's just for my heart." Like you can't. Well, I wasn't cool though, so I guess it really didn't matter. I guess it was pretty accurate. Never mind. I'm gonna retract that whole story. It's irrelevant. Keep going.
It's irrelevant.
I would have hung out with you because that was pretty cool.
I was the biggest nerd in high school.
So,
That's fair. Okay, so I am going to share. Your title is Play Smart, so the cover is going up. I love this cover. It's so pretty and it's purpley and beautiful.
purpley? That's so technical.
Listen, I don't get a lot of purple books.
It's true.
It is pretty. I loved it when I saw it. I was like, oh my goodness, perfect.
It is very pretty. I like it a lot.
So good.
So be nice, Leah.
Whatever.
Okay, so I'm going to go down and make that smaller. Do you want to read the blurb?
Of course I do. Nash Ellis knows music, producing, performing, writing. If it involves the creative process, he's there for it. He knows nothing about copy machines or financial reports. Sorry, my kids just got home, so it's going to get real loud in the background, I think. Or anything related to the stuck-up business world his best friends have been chasing since they were kids. But Nash also needs some money. So when his roommate gets him a paid internship at Reed Weather Media, he reluctantly agrees. At least his know-it-all intern competitor is kind of cute in a nerdy librarian sort of way, especially when she's being tormented by an angsty rocker she can't stand. The only thing Paige Andrews hates more than failure, Nash Ellis. She has little patience for the incompetent and zero tolerance for indifference. He clearly doesn't belong in their corporate world, so why does he insist on ruining her dream? And the worst part, he's not what he seems. In fact, it's all the things he's hiding behind those electric blue eyes that make him straight up captivating in an ironic slacker sort of way. But their smoldering friction bursts into open flames when the feuding interns are forced into a high stakes mission that requires intimate knowledge of the music industry. Yep. What could go wrong when the least qualified candidate to ever walk the halls of a major corporation becomes their only hope of success? Play Smart is an enemies to lovers, rock star, and workplace romance comedy. That sounds really fun.
It's a lot of things. It's a lot of things.
That's okay. It sounds like a lot of good things.
I'm giving you really hard things to read tonight. I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. But your shirt now makes sense.
Right? Nash.
Nash.
Mhm.
Like,
it would have been really weird if there wasn't a Nash in the book. I just randomly wore a Nash shirt. But.
well, I thought maybe like that was the name of the band or it had significance to, you know, maybe their background or their story. Oh, Amanda's mad because so right now the podcast is hosting a summer reading challenge where we give everybody daily prompts of things they have to do, and then they also have to read books. And so Amanda's like, it's too bad it's not out before the purple book prompt.
She does preface it with it. It's so pretty. So
she's like, sorry, you have to wait till October 13th for this one to come out, guys. Sorry.
Jenny would like to know if we're going to get more Reed Weather Media shenanigans.
Oh, yeah.
Because Jenny is a huge fan.
Yeah. All the Reed Weather Media. I mean, if you read the first book, you know Nash. He was Marcos's roommate, the ironic slacker musician. And now he's working at Reed Weather Media. So if you know Reed Weather Media and you know Nash, you can do that math pretty easily and see that that equation does not balance at all. So it's not a good match, but it's a great match for rom-com.
So is Reed Weather Media like the whole of is just a media company or the production company? What kind of?
So Reed Weather Media is the marketing subsidiary of Sandeki Telecom. So it's established in book 1, Street Smart, where Marcos gets his job. And so it's this, I can only think, the only words coming to mind right now is zany. I mean, think of the weirdest employees that you can possibly think of. They all work at Reed Weather Media, and especially Reed Weather the third, the owner, who is just completely out
Wait,
there.
his
And
name
then
is
of course
Reed Weather?
Reed Weather the third is the owner of Reed Weather Media. And then of course there's Chad. And I don't need to say any, if you read the book, all I have to say is Chad, Murnut, we're good to go. There's plenty of Chad and Murnuts and Reed Weather and more. All the things will be in this
I
book.
want to read this just for all the names.
It sounds hilarious. And
How do you
zany
keep-
makes perfect
How do you
sense.
keep track of everybody? Like Reed Weather the third. Is there Reed Weather Jr. in the book too, or is
No, we don't know anything about Reed Weather the first or the second. Only the
geez.
third. The third is plenty. You don't need more than that.
Brooke
Reed
just put
Weather's plenty.
Chad with an exclamation point in the chat.
Chad has, or Brooke has an unhealthy relationship with Chad, I think, but no, she doesn't. I love she
It's
everyone.
possible.
Chad is the villain that you just love. Like you want, like he's supposed to be the villain, but you can't help loving him. So is Reed. Reed as well. Pretty much the only true villain is Denver Sandecki, but he was Penny's villain first, so that's fine.
Right.
It's true.
Brooke says rude. Okay, so I didn't mention this either, but it's oh my goodness. Play Smart is part of the Work For It series, Educated Romance World. That is where it plays into the Penny Reed Smartypants universe, because I forgot to share that.
Yes.
Okay, so I just want to read the book. So can you just send me the book now?
I mean,
Ask that
I don't
question.
even. It's one of those books like they're like, okay, well, how do we classify this? And I'm like, a rom-com,
You're like, I
rock-star
don't know.
romance, enemies to lovers, like I don't know, workplace, whatever you want to call it. It is
So-
that.
Do you typically write, I mean, outside of Smartypants, do you typically write rom-com, or do you save all your zaniness
No.
for Smartypants?
No, the first and no, it's not true. I did write a comedy novella that went with my Hold Me series. I'm known for my angsty, emotional, make you cry, break your heart stuff. So when Street Smart came out, my readers were like, "What happened to you? Like, no, like what?" And it was very fun. But I had a blast writing it, and I love writing comedy, and I do include some comedy in my other books, just as almost as because they're very heavy and they're very emotionally heavy. So I put some comedy in there to kind of break it up a little bit. But I've never written a full length comedy. The first one I've ever written was Street Smart, and I loved it. And Play Smart, I had a blast writing. I got to go back to my music roots. I'm a musician, obviously, so I write a lot of rock stars, a lot of musicians. Street Smart, there's no musicians in other than Nash. But this one, I got to really delve into my experience as a producer and in the music industry, and performing and all that stuff. So I got to really get into that as well with this book, which also made it really fun for me to write.
So we've been asking everybody tonight about their journey into Smartypants. Like, what made you submit your book?
Well, the honest answer is Emmy Carter made me submit my book. She was like, she read my books before, and she's like, you need to do this. Like you can. I'm like, I don't write rom-com. Like I don't write like Penny writes. I mean, I love reading Penny's books, but I don't write like that. And she's like, well, you just need to try it. And I was like, I don't know. So I tried. I wrote. I spent a lot of time in this first chapter of Street Smart, and I submitted. And what I learned from the process was how much I love writing comedy. So at first I was like, well, I would, we'll see. And then once I started writing it, I was like, oh, I really want to do this book. And when I found out that that it was accepted, I was at karate and I was shaking so hard that my husband had to drive me home because I couldn't drive my car. I was so excited. I couldn't even I was just shaking. So I was really, really excited. But I loved Penny's Hypothesis series. Obviously the connection with the music with Abram, but then especially I love Martin and Caitlin and the chemistry there and just the angst, and I love the angst. So to get a chance to write in that series and bring Martin back and bring Denver and Caitlin and Abram and all of them back. I was so fun.
Well, in that series for her, like it's pretty angsty in a like for her, and like that's kind of you don't always get that with her, which I think is interesting.
No, and it's probably why I connected with that one so much, because that is what I do and what I'm known for. But I read the first three like multiple times. I mean, I've never read chemistry. I mean, it's very well named because I've never read chemistry like that, and I just was like, it blew me away. And so I just really connected with that series, and so obviously with the musician as well, with Abram, and later on with Abram. So yeah, I was so excited to get a chance to do that, and you will see a different cameo in Play Smart, which I just gave away. That was not in Street Smart, obviously, with the music connection. So there's more stuff in there.
Do you think for like your books in general, you'll write a rom-com, or do you want to keep those rom-coms in the Smartypants world?
For now, it's going to stay in the Smartypants world. It's mostly a logistical thing. I have 7 books that I'm writing right now.
At the same time?
At the same time. And so to add another one, I want to in theory, but I just know practically it'll never happen.
How are you keeping your character straight?
I write everything. I'm a mood writer, like a major mood writer. And so I just have to go with what I'm feeling at any given time. And I write everything from paranormal to rom-com to, you know, contemporary to new adult to like everything. So I have one of each of those for suspense, like kind of going at any different time, one in each series going at any different time. And then, you know, whatever I'm feeling or whatever the thought is that's in my head, like that's what I'll jump and I'll go with. And I can work on multiple books in the same session. I'll start with one and then something will hit me for another one. I'll pull that one out. And I know I reread my books so many times because I'm a really meticulous self-editor. So I just know my world and my characters just really, really well. So they're so real to me. That's like, that's how I keep track of them. Like they're just my friends. They're in my head. They're talking to me.
I don't honestly, like we've interviewed a lot of authors, and I don't think I have had any author where they are writing multiple books congruently.
Yeah,
like,
that's
like
actually
maybe
why,
1 or 2. I think 2, 3 at the very most, because they got an idea and they had to write it down, but it was just like the stirrings. But nobody who is like congruently writing like books.
True pantser. That's what Jenny says.
It is. And I know it's probably infuriating for my readers because that's why I don't have scheduled releases because I don't know. I can't tell you what my next release is going to be because I could get hit with the bug right now and finish a book in 2 weeks and it's the next one. The book that I'm working on now is supposed to be book 5 in another series is now going to be book 6 and coming out 2 years later. I mean, it's all, I know, Brooke, close your ears. Don't listen to this.
Honestly though, like as a reader, I appreciate that where like you are giving us the idea that is really stirring you in that moment, because there's nothing that I dislike more as a reader when you get a book where you know the author kind of forced it out and it might be a good book, but like you know that like they were just trying to get the words on the page.
Yeah, if you talk to any of my readers, you know that will never happen. I mean, I wrote Ashton Morgan in 11 days.
Holy crap.
I've been working on, and that was the first book that launched my Wreck Me series and started last year. And then I've been working on another one for 4 years. I mean, it's all I can say. That's why I say like people want to, I know I write so many different genres and tropes, but the one thing that unites them all is they're all just really authentically from my soul. And hopefully whether it's comedy or whether it's emotional or whatever, you can feel that and you feel that connection that I've had with the book and the characters because it's genuine. I mean, it doesn't exist if the connection is not there because that's where it comes from. So,
but I think that creates a fan base that's going to be loyal and okay with sporadic releases. Cause like Jenny is right now in our chat going, we love it. And I know that she is a huge fan because I was telling Heidi, we're working on an episode where we're going to build a band. Like we're battling romance book bands. and it's our all-star band. And one of the things that I did is the other two people that are doing it with me, I asked them, like, who are your top rock star authors? And Jenny was like, Allie Stiles. Just read all her books. And I'm like, oh yeah, I got plenty of time between now and the end of September to read all the books.
I mean, there's only like 20. You'll be fine.
Right.
But they're not all rock stars. So you can cut it. You can forget
You
a
can
couple
pick
of
and
them.
choose.
Pick and choose. Yeah.
Pick and
I
choose.
mean, yeah, I do music. I actually do music as much as I do writing. It's kind of 50-50. So
Yeah.
a lot of my rock star books, a lot of my musician books is actual experiences that I've had. The thing it's what I live and breathe, including in Play Smart. When I'm, he's a producer. While he's producing, I mean, a lot of the scenes straight out of there were scenes straight out of my own studio that I was working on, stuff I was working on. So, so yeah, it's just really cool to be able to combine those two worlds and, my two passions into one thing. So
I love that though, because it gives you like an authentic like feeling to the book. And like oftentimes, like when you're reading a book, like you can tell if an author has experienced something similar to that or has a true passion for what they're talking about, just the way it comes off in the page.
Yeah. And I think that's what's a little bit different about my rocker books, my music books, and some of the other ones is because I'm coming at it from the perspective of the musician. So the relationship between the process and the songwriting and where lyrics come from and where the music comes from and how all that fits together, that's the center of my rocker books, because that's where I'm coming from at it, not from the fan side, not from the listener side, but from the creator side and the artistic side of it.
Yeah.
So
That's
Jenny
so
said
awesome.
you just released your own song.
I did. My first single. I've produced on other songs that are on Spotify, but this is my first single that I actually perform. So that just came out last week, and there might be another one coming soon related to Play Smart.
Oh, fun.
That's
so exciting.
I didn't say that though.
In the chat, I put Allie's newsletter links and all those things. Make sure you check those out, because I have a feeling that's probably the best way for you to know all the things that Allie is up to. Do you sleep? This would be the question.
No, I actually do not. No, and I'm not even kidding.
Who has time?
No, I am terrible sleeper. But I don't know. It's just when you just love something, like you just want to do it all the time. So
no, totally can relate.
Well, then it doesn't feel like work as much. Like it's one of those things like you're truly passionate about.
Exactly.
You're getting that like out, but it doesn't feel like
exactly. Because I'm on vacation. I was like, why aren't you relaxing? I'm like, I am. This is what I do. Like this is what I do for fun. Why would I not do it when I'm on vacation too?
Okay, I'm going to put in the chat. It is the purchase link to pre-order Play Smart. So you guys, make sure you guys grab that so that it can be there on your reading devices on October the 13th. So you don't typically write rom-com, but enemies to lovers seems to be something that's typical in rockstar romances. So is enemies to lovers something you write often?
I have written that one, yes. In fact, the last book I released, which was actually not a rocker book, Tristan Isabel, was Enemies to Lovers. I love writing Enemies to Lovers. But every time I write a book, I like to do something I haven't done before. So I do write Enemies to Lovers, but I also have done Friends to Lovers, single parent. I try to do everything. So, but this one, I had a blast. Like Paige and Nash could not be more opposite. And the friction, like just from page one, the friction is...
I love an opposites attract romance.
So fun.
I feel like it adds such a good, like, interesting dynamic to the characters, because it's like they have this idea of like who they should be with or who they want to be with, and it's not even close.
I mean, I guess imagine Abram like in a copy room, like folding mail. That's what you're dealing with. So it's just not a good fit for anyone.
That's so funny. So they're coworkers, they're interns, and they're fighting for a position. Is that kind of what?
Yeah. I mean, that was the setup in Street Smart as well. Reed Weather, he's like has this bloodthirsty desire to watch these interns battle it out for one full-time position. But the problem with Play Smart is, I mean, Nash really doesn't want the position. I mean, he's really there more just to annoy Paige by the end of it. but yeah, it's technically they're there trying to battle out for one permanent position. So Paige really, really wants it, and Nash really, really doesn't want to be there. So that's the dynamic you're dealing with.
And how she doesn't push him down the stairs, or maybe she does. I don't know. We'll have to read the book to find out.
I mean, there might be some violence. I don't know.
Okay, so Play Smart is out October 13th. Allie, thank you so much for joining us.
On vacation at that.
On vacation
right.
too. That's so sweet of you.
What else would I do on vacation? This is exactly what I'm going to be doing. So.
Okay, so we're going to slide you back into the waiting room. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Anytime. Okay. I need all these books,
Vacation.
Leah.
She's on vacation and she came to hang out with us.
No, that's really nice.
I know. My TBR is like.
I do have a couple of her Rockstar books on my Kindle because, like I said, Jenny recommended. But now I have to add these two in the Smartypants world. So
Jenny says her heart is full.
I know. She's been
like that. Allie was one of those ones that she's looking forward to all of them, but Allie's one of the ones that Jenny was really looking forward to.
I know. These covers are really incredible.
They really are. And Becky and I got like early like sneaks at them so we could like prep for this. And I was like, oh my God, it's so amazing.
It is. So we've seen 3 so far. We've got Not You. That's up there. I really love these Knitting in the City, or not Knitting in the City. Which ones are they?
The Chicago.
Common Threads. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So then Lost Track. And then Play Smart. So those are all going to be so great.
I know, but we have Nora Everly next, and I really love like the beards, like the colored like plaids that they use.
So will we get a beard? Will we?
They all
will
have
we get
beards.
I don't know. Maybe.
Like I am scrolling through currently, and every single one of the library has a beard.
Yeah, but maybe this will be the unbeard one. Maybe this will be the non-beard one. You don't know.
Do you think so, though?
You don't know. You won't know until we share the cover with you.
I just want to know I can't remember what color it was.
I know the color because I'm looking at the cover on my fancy Stream Deck.
Well, I had looked at it, but I've seen a lot of stuff lately.
What an oval. What an oval.
What an oval.
I don't know what that means.
Understand what that means, Jenny.
Okay,
and I've
so
had
next
some tequila, so
next
it
up
might make sense.
Oh my gosh. Next up is Nora Everly, and she writes the Green Valley Library series.
Instead of a beard, just an oval.
Oval. It's possible.
It's not though. There's definitely
it could be. So, have you read any of the library books? I'm totally putting you on the spot here.
I haven't because I don't have time. And also because I was honestly for Nora's though, I was waiting for the 4th brother so I could binge them.
You are ridiculous. I have read.
I love a good binge. I love a good binge.
But this is how we end up down rabbit holes and off TBRs and
what's TBR?
This is Liz's. This is her rock star moment. She's so excited.
It is because Nora is one of Liz's favorites.
One of her favorite people too, not just authors, but people. So
people.
So we are going to bring Miss Nora Everly on to join us. I have like 2 mice.
Else said that Nora's books are a fave also, but I don't know how
I have
name, so.
2 mouses on my desk. One's for the Zoom meeting and
one's which one is which?
I keep hitting the one for the computer.
Did you label them? You should have labeled them. You should have had me label them for you.
I didn't label.
Our IT guy is slacking.
Because he didn't label.
Sorry, Burger.
He's fine. Okay, so joining us now is Miss Nora Everly. She'll be popping on here in a second. There she is.
Hi.
Hello.
Welcome to our chaos of the night.
I do not have real mice. I do not like anything with tails. Just so we're all clear.
What?
I have 2 mice on my desk. One controls the Zoom meeting and one's for my laptop. And I keep
mixing
moving
them up.
I keep moving the wrong one.
Oh.
And Jenny thought I had real mice for a second.
Don't you
And
have
I'm
real mice in your freezer?
I do in my freezer, but they're for the girl child. I do not touch them. I mean, the girl child feeds them to her snakes.
Do you see Nora's
I am
face right now?
alarmed.
She's like,
Okay.
what? She's like, what have I walked into?
What am I here for? This is fun.
You are here. Welcome to Happy Hour, Nora. You've done an interview with us, so you know our level of chaos.
Yes, that's why I'm not nervous. I love you.
Well, thank you. We
That
always
was
tell
a
everyone.
compliment.
Thank you. We always tell everyone we're a hot mess. We're not everyone's cup of tea, but when you find us and we are your people, you will love us.
That's the truth.
So in our traditional bees way, Miss Nora, what are you drinking tonight?
I just have water. I'm so boring.
No,
It's okay.
same. Although it's flavored, but same.
Oh, okay.
So you're.
I have tap water. Cheers.
Cheers. There you go.
Although yesterday I had liquid death water. Have you tried that?
No, what is liquid death water?
Comes in a can. It's sparkling water. My brother gave it to me. And it was like, like LaCroix and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's like that, but better and more entertaining because it's called liquid death. And it tastes like actual something and not just like fruit that was next to a can for a while.
Yeah.
Is
That's
it
actually
worth
why-
purchasing.
Is it worth purchasing?
it?
Yeah, I would buy one and try one. It was tasty.
I'll have to write it down. I
Yeah,
have seen like the
liquid
liquid death, like coffee drinks,
Okay. I
Is
don't
it
know
the
if they're the
same?
same. They might be.
or maybe
It comes
just
in one of
is-
those tall cans. It makes you look like you're drinking.
Maybe I just
something.
think it's a coffee drink because it's called liquid death and the
It
can is
could
brown.
be. I don't know. It could be part of the same company.
Do not know.
I don't know, but it kind of scares me a little, like liquid death. Like, why
I would
you
have
name your
assumed it
company
had
that?
alcoholic beverage in it. If
I
it
know.
was
It
called
looks
liquid
like
death.
it. The can does. I'm like, what is this?
You're
but
drinking
it's
a
just
22
water.
on a Friday night.
Yeah. With my
Like it's
lunch.
1994.
For lunch.
Yeah.
Okay. We were like, wow.
We have digressed very far from books.
It's
But
fine.
that's okay.
I mean, that's typical.
We are so excited to have you here. Liz all day has been like, it's tonight, and I have been a nervous wreck all night. For actually days.
I had
because
to
I'm
like
so
talk
excited.
her down this morning, like bring her
Aw.
down.
Because I'm so
'Cause she's-
excited to talk
she
to
was-
all of you.
She was very stressed out that our tech wouldn't work, and I'm like, honestly, nobody cares if our tech doesn't work. Like,
Yeah.
Robert and Penny would not say okay if they didn't trust us to do this.
Yeah.
And I mean,
Um,
now they're probably like, what are we doing?
Right. Probably
Talking
pull me
about
back.
frozen mice and liquid death. What?
Right.
No, I mean, they knew what they were going into when they said yes.
That's true.
I'm just
Um,
throwing that out there.
Jenny said her son kept a can of liquid death. She'll show us. I thought it did and yelled at him
that
not to
alcohol,
drink it. She
probably.
thought it had alcohol in it.
Oh yeah. It looks like it should be.
I have to find it. I don't know if it exists or in my small town.
Okay, Leah, read Nora's bio for us.
Okay, Nora Everly is a lifelong bookworm. She started reading the good stuff once she grew tall enough to sneak the romance novels off the top of her mother's bookshelf and has been reading nonstop ever since. Once upon a time, she was a substitute teacher and an educational assistant. Now she's a writer and a stay-at-home mom to 2 small humans and 1 fat cat. Nora lives in the Pacific Northwest with her family and her overactive imagination.
Exciting.
No lies.
One
No
fat
lies.
cat.
So, the title of your book that is part of the fall launch is Architecture and Artistry. This is your 4th book into the Smartypants world.
Yeah.
And this is about brothers, correct?
Yeah. This one is Barrett Monroe. He's the oldest and
Okay.
the most complicated fellow out of all the
The
4
mo-
of them.
I do like a complicated fellow.
Okay, so here comes the cover for Architecture and Artistry. And it is a beard. I
course
said
it's a
maybe they'll
beard.
surprise you and it won't be
No,
a
but
beard.
did you realize that it is a like library card
Yeah.
behind the faces?
Did you
Mhm.
not?
No,
You
I
did it?
No, I just realized that I was this many years old.
You're so pretty. You're so pretty. Okay, so I'll put that down to the smaller.
I thought they were just lines. I didn't understand.
It's a
If
library.
you look at Wyatt's the first book, it oh gosh, I think at the top corner of his head it says author's name. That one I think is the easiest to tell. It's the library
Because
card.
he has the big hair.
He has the biggest head of hair.
Yeah, I did not notice that.
Okay,
It's okay. I don't notice lots of stuff.
Leah, do you
I
want
do
to read?
really like them though.
Liz is like, oh, Leah, sweetie, you're so pretty.
Yeah.
Do you want to read the blurb so then we can talk about the library?
Yes, I will. Okay, Sadie Hill has a lot going on. New job, twin boys, deadbeat ex, and a mother from hell. Her life is chaos, and no matter how hard she holds on, every plan she makes flies straight out of her grasp. The last thing she needs is for her devastatingly hot coworker to become her new neighbor. A distraction like Barrett does not fit into her precarious plans for the future. Barrett Monroe has a lot going on. His wicked ex-wife is nothing but a memory, but his daughter is back home where she belongs, and he loves his job. His control freak ways have paid off, and he can finally relax into his perfectly scheduled life alone, just how he wants it. The last thing he needs is an irresistible single mom and her adorable kids to move in next door. Sadie was hard enough to stay away from when she was just his coworker. But one night spent stranded in a snowstorm together finds these two sneaking around, sharing stolen kisses and losing their hearts. Will they give into the excuse me? Will they give into the flying sparks between them or drive each other crazy fighting their feelings instead? And Becky, this right here is why you need to start reading blurbs, because your face was like, ooh, I'm totally gonna read this now.
Like, listen, reading blurbs is not for everyone. I like to take a book just off the title. It just
And
keeps
Jenny
things
says
interesting.
Becky's face. Like that's
They're
too
snowed
much.
in.
I know.
They're
Is there
snowed
one bed?
in.
Just one bed?
One bed and snowed in?
Obviously.
I mean,
Obviously. And Sadie is an interior designer, so it is a fabulous bed.
Oh, I like these.
And they
things.
wreck it.
Do they break it?
Spoiler alert. No, I don't know
that
how much to
fabulous
give
it
away.
but there are
because
just
it's like-
pillows everywhere.
Yeah. And yeah, I don't want to give away the whole like callback
Don't.
joke situation, so I won't.
Oh, okay.
You gotta read it.
So this
just
releases
destroy
October
things.
20th. What are the chances I'm getting this before October 20th? I don't know. Because I'm gonna need it tomorrow. I don't have
Well,
time
we don't
for it.
know.
You when I'm
it's
allowed
not-
to give out arcs.
It's okay.
No,
She
I
can
will
wait.
if you
She can
want.
be patient.
I can wait.
Yeah, I can be
do
bribed very
patience.
easily. In fact, you just did it. You asked me. Yeah, sure. That's how easy.
So it's opposites attract, small town romance, single dad, single mom. I had to tell you, after we had you on, we did an Instagram live with you because we did one of your other books as one of our group reads over in our Discord channel. And after I got off of that chat with you, you were like, oh, you have to read this and you have to read that. So I devoured the first 3 books in the Sisters that were your 3 books.
Oh, the
you were like,
Sweetbriar books.
yes.
Mhm.
And then we had talked about these books. So I read book 1. I haven't gone past book 1 because, the day job and other
Life and all
things.
that boring crap.
They're all on my Kindle. So I will get to them. And you also told me,
the 10 books you added already tonight.
right. But then you also told me to read Piper Sheldon's My Bear Lady, and then I fell down that rabbit hole. So really, Nora, I'm going to need you just to talk about this book tonight because my TBR cannot handle if you
I'll
tell me
try.
to read 6 other books?
But I'm completely random, so I cannot guarantee anything.
And this is when Nora just says, "You're welcome."
Yeah, you're welcome.
Seriously, we got off that chat with you, and I was like, "Oh, there's like
Oh, but
8
Piper
books."
Piper had been on your TBR for a while because
She had-
they're like Broadway retellings, and so that's like your jam. But like
Mhm.
when you told her like how good they are, she's like, "Oh, damn it, I gotta read them now." Like
Yeah,
next.
they're really good.
You
I'm a
did.
book pusher.
It's okay. We like book pushers.
We do.
Okay, so this is book 4 of these brothers. So give us a little
And
background
this
for
is
anybody.
the last Monroe brother, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's only 4 of them. He's the last one.
You can't ask her any other questions, Leah. She's bound by.
You can ask me whatever
rules.
you want. I'll say anything.
Brooke's like, get off now.
Say anything. I have no filter.
You are people. This is why you fit with us. Okay, so 4 brothers. Give us a little background of the history of the 4 brothers.
Okay. So obviously they live in Green Valley. And they come, I don't know. Their mom is like a very like, okay, like I based her off of my husband's mom and his aunt. So she's like super Southern and super like very
That's all
like,
you need to say. She's super Southern. It kind of just, we know.
and just bless your heart and sweet and just like, I love my boys, and just like a really good mom and just very nosy and meddly. And so their dad is a good dad. So they are the, like, they're all kind of cinnamon roll guys, like sweet
I like a
guys.
cinnamon roll.
Me too. Those are my favorites.
Mhm.
So they all are that way. They're all nice and kind and protective and sweet, but I don't know. What else do you want to know?
Like,
This is a very broad topic, and I could just sit here and like completely ramble and go
That's-
nowhere.
I think you've
So
met us,
Wyatt
we're
is
okay with
a
it.
middle child. I don't know. He's the first brother, and he's the
Okay.
one that falls for the actual librarian in the library series. So that's where that comes from. And then I got to continue, and I can't write 4 librarians. There's just not a library with that many people. So not in a
Especially in a small
way.
town.
Yeah, I mean, in a big city probably, but no, I can't have 4 librarians. So they kind of moved into my Monroe area and, not quite so library. So then there's Everett, book 2. He's a sexy carpenter nerd. And then there's book 3, who's Garrett, who is like your blue collar. He works for the company, his dad, their Monroe and Sons construction company. He's the only one Everett works there part-time. He opened up a gamer store in town called 20 Sides and Sundry for like Dungeons and Dragons and cool stuff like that. And so then Garrett's going to take over the business, and then Barrett is their architect. That's the title, architecture and artistry. So the titles are all what they do. So he's an architect, and Sadie's an interior designer. So that's the artistry.
Mm-hmm.
And I brainstormed those titles like, gosh, right after the first book with Penny. And we're like, she said crime and periodicals. And I was like, oh, so then all the books have to have 2 words.
Mm-hmm.
So we came up with all of them except Hot Shot and Hospitality. And when I had to title that book, I'm like, I don't know. So
Like it has to mesh, it has to blend, it has to have this and this.
Mhm. And I was like, he used to be a Marine and now he's a construction worker. So I just made her call him Hot Shot, like a nickname.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like,
Yeah.
that worked good enough for me.
Jenny says the gamer store is across from the pole dancing studio. So Jenny and Liz are basically our Smartypants Wikipedia. Like they're our wiki. Like we're like, hey, what's happening here? We ask them, they tell us. Because they know all the things. Apparently Everett is your man.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody loves
Ryan, yeah.
Everett.
Everett's the one they're giving
Yours?
the love to.
No, not
everybody
me,
in the
but
chat.
Elizabeth and somebody else. They Ball Family 208. Clone
Whoever
Everett.
you may be.
Yeah,
Can you
he's
tell
my
us your
favorite.
name, Ball Family, so we don't continue to call you Ball Family?
Yeah, I'm trying to ignore that name because I'm 12.
No, you're not alone in your
Okay.
12-year-old
Apologies to
shenanigans.
Ball Family.
So let's talk about Sadie a little bit. So Sadie is a single mom with a not so good ex.
Yeah, and when I'm red now because Ball Family. Okay. Okay.
It's okay. Becky embarrassed me super hard earlier. So
When I put in Everett's book, I had Willa. No,
Okay.
actually, Willa was in the first book. She's Sabrina's best friend. And when she popped into my head, she's like, hey, I'm gonna need a book, and I have a bunch of sisters, and this is who they are. And I was like, fine. So Sadie's been in there bothering me for a very long time.
Mhm.
She's miserable. Her husband's a dick. I mean, sorry, am I allowed to cuss? Whatever.
Yep.
He's
You're
a
fine.
dick.
Yes, you may.
And he left her alone, and she had to move back with her mom, who is not great. And that's kind of gone through the other books too, that kind of backstory. So she is in a very scattered place in her life. She's been deserted by her husband. She has two rambunctious little twin boys, and she was unhappy working for her mom they have a lavender farm, and she works there part-time, and she got a job working for the Monroe Construction Company as a interior designer. And she has had a bit of a crush on Barrett since high school for all kinds of reasons that will come out in the book. It's not shallow. She is a very deep person.
Mhm.
And Clara, other sister, also needs the story, buys a house in town, and she's like, she has money, and I'm not going to say why, because if I write her book, that will be
Okay.
her reason.
We don't want to give any spoilers for
No
future
spoilers.
books.
So, okay. Where was I? Okay, so they move into this. She wants Sadie to live with her, get her away from her mom, because Claire's kind of the fixer, the one that takes care of people, the family, and has the, strongest, like, backbone, head on her shoulders type of person. But the house, alas, is right next to Barrett's. And then
Like
things
it's
happen.
meant to be.
Of course.
Mhm.
It's meant to be.
Yeah.
And
You
there's
do
one bed. One bed, people.
one
Yes.
bed and
It
snowed
will be the
in.
one bed situation, because I enjoy that trope quite a
do
bit.
too.
Barrett gives her all the zings.
Well done.
I'm so excited that this is like snowed in. What inspired you to do snowed in? Because I think that has to be a pretty complicated trope to write, because they can't go anywhere.
No, it's not like it's a catalyst. It's not it's not like the story arc.
Oh, okay.
You know what
So
I'm
it's
saying?
just that
It
first
is-
moment.
It forces things. They get stuck.
So they've been like
There's been a-
circling
Yes. So,
and
and
the
Barrett
snowstorm.
has, bless his heart. He cannot say the right thing to her. He
Oh, he's a
admires
foot in
her.
mouth.
Mm-hmm. He respects her because she's a single mom, and she's like taking care of business. She seems to have everything together. He likes her work. He admires her a lot. And everything out of his mouth is stupid whenever he talks to her. And Garrett gives him all kinds of crap for it. And he's just like, if through the other books, you can see that Barrett is kind of uptight and kind of the caretaker, and
Mhm.
everything goes the way it needs to go. And Sadie is chaos. She doesn't want to be chaos, but she's been thrust into it, and she's kind of struggling. So
I
there's
like a
like
little bit of
in
chaos.
two opposite points of their lives. He's finally he has a teenage daughter who's back home for reasons, and he's happy. He's content with his little quiet, me and my daughter, happy life, whatever. And then this storm moves in next door, and he doesn't know what to do because he likes her so much, and he just pisses her off constantly, like through the beginning. And then there's this house, the Bandit Lake house. I've mentioned it in I don't know if it's just the last book or the last two books, but they're working on this cursed house. And I'm gonna give you the whole story. Make me stop.
Stop.
Just stop. You
just
can stop there. I love all of these things that you're saying. I'm like, I need just to read this like tomorrow.
Yeah.
I really like Barrett. He's one of those guys that's like such
Brooke says stop.
I can't see any comments.
She didn't see that.
Hannah.
No, I don't see anything. Where are they?
She said,
"Oh, they're in YouTube,
kidding,
not on
I'm
your
not
screen."
mean.
Oh, okay, yeah.
No, so Hannah says if you read the other brothers, you can experience the OMG Barrett and Sadie belong together that we all experienced for 3 books. Again,
Aww.
I'm waiting for book 4 so I can just binge them hard. Because that'll be like a day of reading.
Brooke is like, shut it down, shut it down. Yeah, it's fine.
Oh, no. Yeah, okay, I'll stop.
No, you're fine. And so
you're like, yeah, keep going.
Come on. When we had you on Instagram, you shared a little bit with us about your Smartypants submission story. So tell everyone who might not have watched that, what is your Smartypants submission story?
Smartypants?
Smartypants.
Smartypants story.
Like, where that freaking
So I like Penny's books, but at the time I was reading them, I was not like I didn't really go on Facebook a lot or none of that kind of thing. I was in the Sharks, but I was not like a, active online person. So a few days before the submission deadline, I saw that they had opened up Smartypants romance and all of this stuff. But there was like, I don't know, 3 days, 4 days, very few days for me to write anything. And I was like, that's very cool. And I really love Green Valley. I want to live there forever. And I've been writing for a bazillion years. So I have always people in there, not crazy, telling me stuff to write. And I had literally driven my nephew to school down Bluff Road. This is the beginning of crime and periodicals. And I always feel like I'm going to die on that road. And he's like Harry, he's on the spectrum and he's not happy. I had to pick him up after a bad day, just like the book. And I had this girl named Sabrina in my brain already that she was just going to be in Sweetbriar, but I was like, oh, she's perfect. So yeah. So anyway, I wrote the chapter based on a whole bunch of random crap that happened 3 days before the deadline and a character that lived in my brain. Oh, and I passed a cop on the way. I'm like, he should be hot, but he's not. And so it's just like all these pieces just went, and I was like, and then I submitted it and then forced myself to forget about it because what are the odds, right?
Right.
And then it was a couple months later, I think. I don't remember how long it was when we found out. And I checked my email at like I woke up in the middle of the night to pee and checked my email and woke my whole house up, basically. It was a good night.
It's a great night.
I love that because honestly, everybody who has talked about their journey, like
they're probably all organized, right?
Nope.
Oh,
doesn't sound like it.
But like everybody's reaction is very similar. Like it's
like
that
shock,
moment of like shock.
Freaking kidding me?
Yeah, which I love that. I love that. Not that I'm surprised that any of you made it in, like reading like your books and your stories previously, but like, everybody seems to has that same like I am shocked by the fact that they allowed me to do this.
Yeah, it's a blessing. I'm so lucky because this is the best world to write in. I love Green Valley. I love it. And I want to live there. I think I said that, but whatever.
Okay.
No,
I wish it was real. I really do.
Me too.
It kind of needs a theme park, don't you think?
Oh,
because honestly,
there you go.
There are places I need to go. I want banana cake. I want to, hang out with the Morel support
eat the
group.
sausage. Yeah.
right?
Yeah, Becky just wants to hang out with the Morels.
I would become a
Oh,
mushroom
yeah.
hunter with them. They're delightful ladies. I just think they're a hoot.
She just needs more from them. So again, anybody listening,
Yeah.
Becky wants something about them.
That would be a good series. It should continue.
Mm-hmm.
It is. It is. Okay, so you love a cinnamon roll hero, I would say, and kind of a grump. What inspires you to write cinnamon rolls heroes?
I don't know. Because I was trying to write Cade, my one and only, the last book I finished.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to make him have an edge. Apparently, I just can't do that.
That's okay. He was
I
the perfect
can't.
cinnamon roll.
Thank you.
Mhm.
They just come out nice and just caring. Maybe, I don't know. I have a nice husband and I had a good dad. My brothers are cool. Maybe that's it. Maybe I just need some jerks.
Maybe you
Well,
just
I
live with a
dated
bunch of
jerks.
cinnamon rolls.
I have plenty of people to not like to write about. I just don't. I don't know why. Maybe it's like idealism or wishful thinking or like, I don't know. I just like that.
Maybe it's one of those things though, because Becky and I were interviewing Avery Flynn the one night, and she was talking about how she kind of writes a similar like character, but every once in a while, like she says how she doesn't write like an alpha or anything like that. I was like, yeah, but you write a really good asshole. She's like, oh, I kind of do. But it's one of those things where she doesn't realize it. So maybe in a future book, like you'll just have one of those edgier characters that just kind of pop up unintentionally.
Maybe. Yeah.
Maybe it'll be Liam.
Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so.
Probably not.
No.
He's going to be like the ultimate.
He's going to be the ultimate one. I already
He's
know
going to be
it.
so squishy.
Or he's not. He's going to be like the king of all of them. He's going to be
He's like going to be the king of the grumps too, I think.
Who is?
I think he might be the king of the grumps.
Yeah, I think so.
I do like a grumpy hero.
You do have a fondness for the grouchy guy.
I do. I
Um,
really do.
okay, so Architect in Artistry. It comes out October 20th. It is an opposites attract, small town romance, single dad, single mom. Make sure, here's the purchase link in the chat. If I put the mouse right. There's the purchase link to the chat. Make sure you pre-order this so it can be on your Kindles on October 20th. Don't be like me. Read the series now so you're ready for the 20th.
They're all in Kindle Unlimited right now.
They are. Or you can be like me and just wait and then read them all.
And then binge them all at once.
Oh,
Get
I'm
hit
really
after
hoping-
hit of cinnamon sugar.
honestly, like I'm really hoping that like I have a day where I don't have to do anything and like my husband is home so he can pay attention to my kids so I don't have to, and I can just read all 4 books at once.
Oh,
That's
Liz
like my
says she doesn't see Liam as a grump.
yeah. He's not.
I could
he's-
see
he's
him
sweet.
grumpy. I could see it.
He might start a little guarded, but I don't know. He's very sweet.
He is.
You guys haven't met his whole self yet, but I have, because he's one of the voices in my head. Mm-hmm.
Which is hilarious.
I'm okay with that though.
I
because
love
then
when
those
authors are
voices
like-
in your head go onto a computer screen and then they show up on my Kindle and it makes me extremely happy.
So I don't know if you know the answer to this, Nora. Are your 4 books staying in Kindle Unlimited for a while, or is it for just limited time? I think they've been in KU for a while.
They've been in there for a while, and I know that when the new architecture and artistry comes out, it will release wide on the 18th and go plop into Kindle Unlimited on the 20th.
Mhm.
Okay.
And in past launches, whenever the new book is in Kindle Unlimited, the old books would be too, if I recall correctly.
Brooke
So
says,
Brooke
for
says
at
for the-
least 3 months following this release.
Okay.
Because I know that like the Smartypants, they rotate every once in a while.
Okay, Nora, thank you so much for joining
Yes,
us
thank
this
you.
evening.
Thank you
We
for having
really
me.
need to chat
Excuse me.
more.
Mhm.
I think that we need to figure that out, Leah. So
We do.
because we need
We'll
to know
send you
more
an
about all the
email.
words. Look for our email. Anyway, again, thank you so much for joining us. Architecture and Artistry is out on October the 20th. I'm going to slide you back into the waiting room, and then we have Jiffy Kate. Thank you.
Bye. Thanks for having me.
Okay, put in waiting room.
So the chat was going kind of chaotic because Liz accidentally blocked Brooke.
Yeah, I don't know what she's doing. So I just added Jiff and Jenny Kate.
Yeah.
Look, it's our friends. Hi.
Yay. I'm loving the hair color.
Oh, thanks.
We're just waiting for Jenny Kate to turn her camera on.
I'm trying.
You're there. Hi. We are so excited to see you two. Like, we tell everybody, we're like, they're our
Excited
friends.
to see you.
We're excited to be here.
Nobody believes us, but we're always like, yeah, they're our friends. They drink with us.
No,
They're our
They
friends.
are.
Yep. Yeah.
We
Absolutely.
can claim them because they claim us.
They claim us.
Yeah. We do.
We are so excited to see you guys here. Tell us, what are you drinking tonight? I know it's a school night for Jiff.
It is. But all day when I thought, okay, I have to do the thing tonight, I was like, but that's fine because I don't have school tomorrow because it's Friday. No, it's not Friday. Okay. I can do this
Friday.
Fine. I can rally.
Because you went back this week already, didn't you?
The teachers are back. Staff is back this week.
Mm.
Students join us next week, and that's a whole other.
Well, at least you don't have to deal with that.
Yes.
Well, and
I
Jenny Kate
am drinking Mike's hard lemonade seltzer. That's what I'm drinking.
That's a cute
Oh, it
cup.
has a seltzer now?
What does it say?
It says
Back on my bullshit.
bullshit.
I love that.
Looks like Mother
Jenny Kate
Leaves.
gave it to me when we were at Book Bonanza.
I love
How was
that.
Book Bonanza?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were so
It's
jealous
crazy.
watching all the pictures, but maybe next year.
Yeah.
It's like
hope so.
4 days of insanity is what it is.
Yeah.
Like in the best way, but
I was going to say, is it good insanity or bad insanity? Because
No,
great.
good. Yeah, just good. It's just busy, like real busy. I don't even think because this is our first time to sign. This was our first time to sign at Book Bonanza. So
Mhm.
we were there in 2019, but we did like the Smartypants event. So we kind of worked a little, but it was more like, we were just messing around. I mean, we weren't on a schedule.
You're
We were just
there.
flying by the seat of our pants, doing whatever we wanted until Penny told us to be somewhere. So this was way different. It was so much work. Like, I mean, how many steps did remember Pamela's watch?
Oh, yeah.
We had
It
something
was
ridiculous.
like going to Disney World.
Yeah.
With all the
Like
walking.
35,000
All the
steps.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
bonkers.
And then we were staying out late. So we would all wake up with like 5,000 steps on our step counters just from like whatever we did after midnight. It was crazy. But
So fun. You need to experience Book Bonanza at least once. We do. Leah and I have a goal. We would like to do a live broadcast from some event. That's our.
oh, that would be amazing.
We would
That
like
would
to
be
do
so
that.
fun.
That would be so fun.
Okay,
We just have
Leah.
to figure it out.
We just have to figure it out. Leah, read
Becky.
us the bios for Jiff and Jenny Kate.
Okay. Jiffy Kate is the joint pen name for Jiff Simpson and Jenny Kate Altman. Together, they spend their evenings and weekends spinning tales and hoping one day they hit a bestsellers list. Jiff was born and raised in Louisiana, but now she lives in Texas with her 2 teenagers and her 2 adorable English bulldogs, Georgia Rose and Jake. She loves Project One
Actually, just
Runway.
one.
We need to
Oh,
do
yeah,
some
we have
major
to update
updating.
that.
I pulled
Yes,
this
like
right
major.
from your website, and now we're gonna make her cry.
It is.
We're
Because
the
you don't
worst.
have 2 teenagers anymore either. do
No.
you?
Well, that's what
She
got
has
me. Yeah.
no teenagers.
One of my fur babies passed away a few months ago, but
Yeah.
that was like, wait, they're 20s now. They're in their 20s. Like,
Yeah, we need
Anyway,
some
so the
major-
rest
yeah,
of it
for
is true. Though.
necessarily.
The
It's all
rest is
true. We can
She
pretend
loves
like it's all
Project
true.
Runway, Queen, 80s music, and movies in the color purple. When she's not shaping the lives of our future generation, you can find her planning her next vacation to Disney. Yeah, I was going to say, you don't have teenagers anymore. Jenny Kate is a small town girl from Oklahoma. She's a self-proclaimed coffee junkie / connoisseur. Her husband stays annoyed at her taste in music, and her teenager, who is he still a teenager? Yes.
Yeah. He's just going to college.
Think she's
Got a couple
weird.
more
So
years.
basically, she's winning at life. Between a full-time job as an accounting assistant and her 3 rambunctious fur babies, she's often dreaming about maid services and vacation days.
Even more so now than the day I wrote that, honestly. I have another job on top of all of that. So I'm like, yes, I really need some maid services and vacation hours.
I think you two might be some of the busiest people on earth, honestly. Like, I watch your TikToks and your Instagrams, and I'm like, okay, well, that was fun. I'm tired now. Can I go take a nap? I don't know how you do it all. Okay, so I have to tell you guys, you sent a teaser, maybe 6,
Oh my
8
God, you were
weeks ago.
so mean. That was
on
the meanest
Instagram.
teaser ever. The meanest. And I did message you about it too.
Leah
So
legit
mean.
like yelled at me on the phone about it. She's like, "Did you see this?" And I'm like, "Whoa."
No, I
Deep breath.
did though. Because there was like a strip. That was it. And then
Yeah.
nothing. And I knew I had to wait. And it
Yeah.
was very
That wasn't us though. You can blame
No.
Brooke for that.
I will blame Brooke. But when I did get the
Not
full
to throw her under
cover,
the bus or anything, but
sorry, Brooke.
It's
But when
okay.
we did get the full cover, I was so excited. But I couldn't show anybody, so I was really sad at the same time.
listen, I have a confession right now. I have like the nervous sweats and like my stomach hurts real bad. And I think I'm going to be experiencing that from now until October 20th. Just because
No, a few days after.
and
A few
huh?
days after.
And a few days after.
A few days after.
It's gonna
Yeah.
be so good though. I'm so
Because
excited.
because there's so many people who are expecting Vigo right now and they're
Mhm.
not going to get him, and I want to throw up.
That's okay.
Honestly,
I'm okay
I
with
really
that.
I real bad want to throw up, and I hate throwing up, but I real bad want to throw up right now.
Okay, so I'm going to show
That's
the
crazy
cover.
because I know so many people who love that.
I just really hate like paranoia.
No, honestly though, when I first started the series, like I knew Vigo was gonna be last. Like you just knew. Like he was
We
gonna
don't
be the
even
last brother.
understand. I mean, we understand because we know and love Vigo. Like we know why he's so great, but we feel like we haven't given.
It's just something
tons.
about him. There's just
Maybe it's the
something about that
mystery.
freaking Erickson that you
Yeah,
fall
maybe
in love
it's
Okay.
the
with.
mystery.
Yeah.
I am going to share the cover of Knockout right now on the screen, and then Leah's going to read the blurb. Okay.
So
Let's
good.
go.
Here it
So
is.
good.
Ozzy's cover. I love the red. I'm all for the man abs.
I love it so much.
in. Okay, so make it small.
But do you see it says take a bite? Is there a food scene in this one?
Jesus.
Food is mentioned, but I don't think there's a.
Yeah,
There's
like
no
a
strawberry
scene. That's what I was trying to
jam.
think, like a scene. I don't think there's.
And don't
You guys
she's
do
a
not
nice
understand. She references the jam scene and the sex nachos. Like,
God, have you guys read the Sex Nachos?
I've heard a lot about it. I've
Yeah,
heard a
so
lot
have
about
I.
it.
If you haven't, if you haven't read the Sex Nachos, you need to.
Yeah, yeah. And she talked a little bit about. We were on a panel together
Mhm.
at Book Bonanza. And she talked a little bit about sex.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're delightful.
I mean, it sounds delicious. I love sex and I love nachos. So
like a
I mean,
winning
it's
combo.
messy.
yeah.
Okay, Leah, read us the blurb.
In the blink of an eye, Willow Bernard goes from stocking shelves at the Piggly Wiggly to kicking butt at Viking MMA. Willow Bernard has taken a lot of hits in her 22 years, but always manages to come back swinging. Hoping to fly under the radar for a change, she relocates to Green Valley. Her strategy works until one fateful phone call initiates a series of events that shakes up her quiet existence. Tattooed adventure seeker Ozzy Erickson goes where the wind takes him. When he blows into Green Valley for his big brother's wedding and to figure out his next move, he isn't prepared for the knockout punch coming his way. With Ozzy sticking around the Tennessee mountain town, his brother gives him a temporary assignment as Willow Bernard's trainer. His job is to teach her how to fight, but will she have the skills required to protect her heart? Knockout is a full-length contemporary romance and can be read as a standalone. This is book 4 in the Fighting for Love series, Green Valley Chronicles, Penny Reed universe. And this one also comes out October 20th.
I'm
excited.
I'm so
Me
excited
too.
for Vikings.
I think I'm more nervous for this one than I've been in a long time.
But why?
Because there's the Vigo factor, but I don't know. There's the subject matter is something we haven't tackled before, which is a good thing. And it's a big one.
So
It's not just
more
your
emotions?
typical
Yeah.
rom-com.
More emotions.
Yeah. A little bit more emotions. Yeah. I mean, there are still the funny moments with the brothers, and Ozzy's kind of a lighthearted, funny guy. So also, we feel like we need to make some clarifications because it's been put out, and it is a grumpy sunshine, but it's a grumpy heroine, sunshine hero. So it is grumpy sunshine, but it's a flip-flop. Willow is definitely the grump in this story, and Ozzy is definitely the burst of sunshine.
Love it.
Yeah.
So Brooke says this is her favorite Jiffy Kate book. She teared up, she laughed out loud, and it's amazing.
Oh my God, Brooke!
I just feels. She didn't love that.
That is big praise, Jeff.
Brooke, can you put that in our little bio, in our little thing, in our review thing on Amazon?
In the blurb.
Make sure that goes on Amazon. I love that. Thank you, Brooke.
Those are big words coming from Brooke.
I'm so excited for this. I just love what you guys have done in Green Valley with the Ericksons, because you have tackled some larger issues. If you think about it, is it Tempest is in book 1, right? 1. I mean, she's got a terrible ex-husband and lights all his clothes on fire.
But you gotta love her.
Oh yeah.
I do.
But she names her muffins after Johnny Cash songs.
Yeah.
I mean, that right there. She is my friend.
She's your friend.
Oh, you wore your Donner Bakery shirt.
I did.
Oh, I love that.
That's a solid promo pull quote. That's what Liz says. But I'm excited for you guys to get to go back in there and kind of, what is going to happen with Ozzy and everything.
And I have been impatiently waiting for his book.
Has it been patiently?
There's been no patience.
Like every time she's like, there's a Smartypants announcement. Will we get a Jiffy Kate book? I'm like, no, I don't think so. Not yet.
Well, technically, Knockout should have been in the spring 2022 launch, but we didn't meet deadline, so we didn't meet deadline. So it just got pushed until fall of 2020.
It's okay. You guys
Twice?
have had.
Did we get pushed twice or just once?
No.
Okay.
It's okay.
It just feels like it. That's fine.
You guys have a lot of shit going on.
You have a lot of shit going on, and I know that when we talked in December at Drunk Book Club, you guys had a little bit of some writer's block and life stuff, and it's hard. It's hard, and what you do is not easy to create
honestly,
these stories.
I would rather wait like an entire launch for a book that I know I'm gonna love than you guys give us a book that is just
Yeah. I agree.
And I think this is our longest Smartypants romance book too. So it just took I don't know, it just ended up being like a longer book for us to finish. And we didn't want to phone it in, especially at the end. We just wanted it to end really strong. Willow deserves it for sure. she's going to be a heroine you're going to want to root for. Like, she's kind of like rough around the edges, but there's a lot of good in her, and she's been through a lot. So I love heroes and heroines like that, where you feel like they really deserve their HEA, and she's definitely somebody who really deserves her HEA. And we got like a new bonus character in there that I think everybody's going to really love. And I
Are
don't
you
know.
planning to write a book for the bonus character eventually? Because you know people are going to ask for that.
I don't know. I mean, I think that would be down the road or something, and that would be totally up to Penny Reed and the powers that be, because it would bring us back to SPR, and so I don't know. Because anything Green Valley has to be written under the SPR
right
umbrella. So yeah. I don't know.
You're just
One of
trying to
those
get
things
all
that
the
you're not
tea.
allowed to talk about.
I mean, honestly, I have thought that we're going to bring enough like bonus characters in that we could definitely do a second gen one of these days if they let us, but I don't know. I mean, there's so many new authors coming in, and we would never want to take the spot of like, you know, an up and coming author who needs a spot or something like that. So, but then again, like, we've kind of created our own world within a world. So maybe there's always a small place for Jiffy Kate. I don't know.
Brooke says Willow is badass, and we heard the audiobook narrator audition, and she cannot wait.
Yeah. And they're using like some newer narrators, but they're really doing an amazing job. So I'm stoked. So
yeah. We just did an interview that drops Sunday with some audiobook narrators and Katie from Lyric Studio. And it was incredibly educational and entertaining. And I have like this whole new, like, I already respect audiobooks and audiobook narrators. I now have next level respect for the audiobook people, because they are doing some pretty tough work. Like, I could not do it. I'll just sit here and talk about the books.
Audiobooks are my jam. I love audio.
If you haven't listened to Kim Lorraine and Meg Ann's latest paranormal 4-book series, it's like, yeah, in the ears, like
candy, like ear candy.
Yeah, like, and it's done in duet.
Is it just duet though? Because there's multiple.
Well,
there's
it's
like
multiple,
6
so it's audio
characters.
play. Like, there's like 6 characters in it. So good. Anyway, tell everybody your Smartypants submission story. I don't know that we've ever asked you to this, and we've talked to you a bunch.
I think Jeff had started reading Penny Reed. Like, just
how
right
we got started with SPR.
Our submission story. Yeah.
And
she had told me, like, hey, you need to read this author. Like, I feel like we vibe with her. That's what she told me. Like, I think we write similar types of books, that kind of thing. Cause I mean, we love small towns and
Southern towns,
family oriented, stories and things like that. And she was like, so she had just found her and she told me to read her. And then in the meantime, I think she had joined the Sharks group.
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah. And then saw the submission. And then we actually had the beginning of Stud Muffin is an older, it's a version of an older story we had written like years ago before we even started publishing. And it was kind of like, we weren't going to put like a lot of time and energy on it because we were already like in the midst of writing something else at the time. Cause I want to say that was like while we were writing Come Again, maybe, or maybe just starting the French Quarter novels. I don't know. I just remember we were on deadline. And so we just kind of pulled this like older story from our repertoire and it fit really well. Like it was easy to kind of rewrite it and into fitting into the whole Green Valley universe and stuff. And so, yeah, we just took like the first chapter of that and kind of spruced it up because we hadn't really touched it in like a really long time. So we just sort of like, edited it some, and I don't even think we thought much about it other than like, let's go, let's do it. Like, here it goes.
I did not think we would get picked at all.
It just seemed fun. It seemed fun, and it seemed like, if it worked out, cool. And if it didn't, I mean, I don't know. I don't think we had really thought much about it like that we would get, a request for anything more from that. So I don't know.
But we did.
I remember but we did. Yeah. I remember when we got the email, we were like, shut up, shut up. Because by that time, I think I had read like all the Winstons or like whatever was out at that time of the Winstons. And like went over into the
Knitting
the
and
book.
Stitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
That's so awesome.
Yep.
In the chat, I put all of Jiffy Kate's social media links. Make sure you are follow, and subscribe over there for those ladies. And here is the purchase link for Knockout. Make sure you pre-ordered that. I can't wait. I really need this book. So, I'm just saying.
You know what?
No,
we really need this book because we haven't
I
released
need
a book in almost a year. So we really need this book to come out. It's like, I think we
so
forgot how
good.
to do it.
I'm so excited for this.
Well, I hope it lives up to your expectations.
Oh, it will.
I'm sure that it will.
There
You
won't
guys
be any strawberry jam, but that's
Yeah, and for the people who really wanted Vigo, you do get a good dose of Vigo in the story. So he's there.
of course
he's there. Well, because it's a family
Yeah.
wedding.
Yeah.
Are there
Yeah.
wedding shenanigans?
Not really. The wedding takes place at the beginning of the story. It was just kind of the catalyst for bringing everybody back together and getting Ozzy and Vigo to Green Valley. So, and we knew that OG readers, people who have been reading from the beginning, that they would really like to see our original characters like Tempest and Cage happy and settled, and not that they weren't happy and settled before, but we just felt
sometimes we like to see those continuations of the story because know that they have their HEA and it's completely believable, but as the story progresses, you want to see them in the future and where they're at.
Yeah. It just felt weird, if this were to be our very last SPR book ever, what would we want to include? You know what I mean? So that's what we try to make it. We try to make ourselves happy with how we are leaving things, and then also readers happy. Kind of makes me sad. Let's not dwell on it. Makes me sad.
Now we're stressing Jenny Kate out.
I didn't mean to stress her out.
I'm stressing myself out.
I'll talk you down. That's what I'm getting for. I had to talk Becky down multiple times this week.
So Willow is very fierce, but give us some insight into who Ozzy is a little bit. We've met him somewhat. So he's a little bit of the prankster, but what else about him do we need to know?
Ozzy was different because the other brothers, we had already established a clear character, this is who he is. And so we had a little more leeway with Ozzy. He's laid back. He goes with the flow. He, loves to travel and go on adventures, and he doesn't really have any, he doesn't, outside of his family, there's no anchor, he just goes where he wants to. He's just kind of a free spirit kind of guy.
I think what I love most about Ozzy is that he's definitely layered. So on the outside, like Jeff said, he is that guy. He's very funny and he's kind of goofy, but he's also really intuitive, and he's exactly what Willow needs. So that she doesn't even know she needs, and he's not even trying to be that for her. He just is that for her, So I like the easiness that it is between them from the get-go. I mean, not right at the beginning, but the more they get to know each other, the more they kind of fill each other's voids and stuff like that. I really like that. I like that he's deeper than just being the funny guy. he is funny and he's goofy, and it's really cute. I think some of my favorite scenes, not important scenes, but just kind of I don't even want to call them filler scenes, but just scenes with the family and stuff, is scenes between him and Freya, who is Cage and Tempest baby. It's real cute. I think that kind of stuff is really cute. And yeah, I don't know. I love him. I want to squeeze him. Like, yes, he's all tatted up, but he's very marshmallowy inside. So I really like that.
Is he your favorite brother right now? I mean, he has to be because he's coming out, but
I think, yeah, because usually it's like if we're writing one of them, that's our favorite at the time. Like whoever we're spending the most time with, obviously. But he did kind of steal my heart a little bit. I'm not going to lie. And we went through a lot of struggles with this book, like personal stuff going on that we had to like force our, like push through to get back to writing. And then just like major writer's block, thinking we were never going to finish the book and missing deadline, which we had never done before. And it was just kind of like, it felt like a big struggle, but then it also felt like it was like, meant like we have to finish this book. Like, I don't know. It was almost like the struggles made it even that much more worth it in the end or something like that. But yeah.
We had to do a lot of research for this one, which we do, tend to research a lot for our books. But this one was just, we had to get it right. It's just very important to the story. And so when we get in research mode, we don't write. Like we just research and we focus on that. And then it's like, okay, wait, we got to stop. Like we got to actually use this information. So yeah.
Yeah, we would spend like weeks like looking through articles and reading articles and like legal documents. I mean, like it was so boring, so far from like the creative place we needed to be to write the story. And then we would realize like we have spent so many days, like doing this when we should just do this. So, but
yeah, but as a reader though, we appreciate that you're taking the time to do that research, because there have been books that we have read where an author does not do that, and it ruins the story because their facts are wrong.
Yeah. We need to, well, it's probably too late now, but acknowledge or thank my mom again. She's a therapist, and so there have been many Jiffy Kate books where I'm like, all right, I need your ear. Like, tell us if this works. What would happen in this situation. So this was one of those books.
Yeah.
Aw, good moms. Love that. Okay, so release date for Knockout, I'm going to throw the big cover up there again, is October 20th. You can pre-order that now. I think that I put that up there. And then
it's there.
Okay.
We have some new technology we're using tonight. So
you guys can't see it, but when you watch the YouTube video, a graphic just came up on the screen and showed the book cover.
We're fancy now.
We are.
I love it.
Thank you for joining us, you guys. We always love the opportunity.
Can I give a short plug?
Yes.
You can pre-order this for 99 cents. 99 cents.
That big girthy boy is on my shelf.
It is huge.
One of our community members, Christina, went to Book Bonanza and got a copy for me and sent me a copy.
That's awesome. Yeah. But yeah, you can get the ebook right now. I think just now, and then maybe a few days after release, and it's only 99 cents. So, and it's like girthy.
Yeah.
Thick. Like 740 something pages. So
exciting. It's and they're all nerdy heroes, right?
Yeah. Okay. So if you like Smartypants romance, like I think you're gonna like Smartasses. Penny Reed has a story. We have a story.
There's great authors in there.
Susannah Nix. I was just trying to pick out the Smartypants people, but yeah. So Sarah Nye, Helena Hunting, Avery Flynn, Aaron Mallon.
It's a great collaboration of
authors. Okay, so I'm going to put you guys back in the waiting room. Viewers, do not leave because we have 2 more books and covers to share with you. So thank you guys for joining us.
It's always a blast to see you guys.
Good seeing you guys.
Put to waiting room and put to waiting room. I had to talk it out, so I do it. Okay, so there are still 2 other books in this fall release. That we have covers to share with you and blurbs. So first up, there was a big debate. Leah was convinced this series was done.
I was, but now I remember that there was characters that could be having more, and we're getting
Okay.
more.
So up next is Worth the Wait by Carla Sorensen. The release date on this one is September the 29th.
Sorry.
And there is the beautiful cover with the big green background. This one.
Oh, look at that cover. So
I know,
nice.
right? Such a pretty, pretty, pretty cover. Okay, I'm going to put it down to small. The blurb. You know what I don't have time for? The brooding, dark-eyed, former love of my life showing up when my life is finally settling down. I don't have time for Hunter Buchanan and that intense look in his eye, the way he loved me so perfectly all those years ago. I'm the one who asked him to leave back then, my attempt at saving him from the chaos of my screwed up family. I didn't expect him back in Green Valley, looking better than before and with an empty ring finger. And I definitely didn't expect him to still be in love with me. I don't have time for things I feel around him or how amazing it is when he touches me. Most of all, for the broken heart I'll have if I have to say goodbye again. I survived him leaving once before, but I don't think I can do it again. So there's only one thing I can make time for: staying away from Hunter Buchanan. Worth the Wait is a full-length contemporary romance. You can be read as a standalone and is book number 4 in the Love at First Sight series, Green Valley, Tennessee, Penny Reed book universe.
I am very excited for this. And Carla writes by herself in this universe, so it is just her and her like Buchanan's. But yeah.
Brooke says the pining you're going to flip.
Mm-hmm.
Which is perfect because we do have an episode coming up all about the pining hero. So
we love a pining hero.
Do love a pining hero. And I really like that cover.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very, very nice cover.
Okay.
So close down that cover. What's the last book in the series? So this is... Wait, hold on though. This is considered the out of universe series.
For which one? Worth the Wait for the next one.
Well Acquainted. It is
oh man,
a Penny Reed universe reimagined.
And because Lainey Hatcher, who is last but not least, she is writing Penny's books as historicals. So she is fanficking them into historical romances.
Yeah. So Well Acquainted by Lainey Hatcher. It releases October 27th. Okay, here is that cover. I can do the
blurb this time.
You can do the blurb? I know you were coughing.
I know. I had a tickle and it wouldn't go away. The cough drops apparently lost their like effectiveness since I've been
okay, so now we'll put
that is nice. I love
Isn't that a pretty cover?
With like the needlepoint, like
yeah.
Okay. So the blurb for this one. There are 3 things you need to know about Lady Eliza Morgan. 1, in addition to being a busy physician, she's an accomplished seamstress. 2, she's the victim of a broken heart. 3, the man who shattered it is the one man she could never have. Some things are better left in the past, but Eliza has spent years running from hers. When the man who upended her life re-enters in the most unexpected way, Eliza must decide if reacquainting herself with Nicholas is worth the headache. He's charming and irritating and makes her realize there's so much more than the life she's been living. But first, she must control her painful past if she and Nicholas have any hope for a future. Well Acquainted, a Penny Universe reimagining, is a full-length historical romance. It can be read as a standalone, and it is book 2 in the London Ladies Embroidery series, Smartypants Romance Out of This World Penny Reed Universe, which I think this is one of the most interesting things about this world is Lainey came up with this thought. It was like, hey, what if we had Penny Reed as a historical? And look where it's gone.
Yeah.
Oh, Brooke says Penny designed this cover. I love this cover. I think it's awesome. I love like the simplicity of it, but it's not simple at the same time.
It's not. I really, really like it. So hold on just a second. I'll have a purchase link for everybody. so that they can grab and pre-order this. I know that our other podcast, for those that don't know, Buzzing About Romance has a second podcast called Corset and Crown. And they actually got to interview and chat with Lainey. So if you loved that story and you would like to know a little bit more about Lainey, you should absolutely check out her Corset and Crown episode. You can find it wherever you get your podcasts, but also at corsetandcrown.com. She was delightful, a delightful interview. Lady Sadie and Duchess Katie had a great time chatting with her. So it was a good time.
It's always a good time.
It's always a good time. So I shared the purchase links for those last two books. Thank you to everyone that joined us this evening and, spent some time with this. I'm going to close out the last cover. I appreciate everyone hanging out with us. This was such a fun event.
It was a fun event. It was exciting to get to show everybody the covers before they are officially released into the world. And the fact that we got to share them with everybody is fun and exciting.
I
And I just
also
love
think
this
not
world.
only did our TBR explode, but I also think our list for author interview might have exploded a little bit because
A little bit.
I could use more of them. So
Good.
Elizabeth said the first book in Lainey Hatcher's totally got her into historical and she loved her writing. So
Ooh, I'm not a big fan of historical, so I should give these ones a try.
you should. Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Yes, thank you.
Until next time.
Happy reading, everybody.